I pranked my chat for April Fools by saying I would stream, when reality, I would read every single Genshin tutorial that currently exists in 4.5. Oh, also, Aha, the Eon of Elation, would be in charge of my chat, because what better fool to have than the Eon of Fools himself? In the end, I was truly the April Fool, because why are there so many tutorials? Alright, let's get started. I am so nervous that things are going to break. I have been working on this for a hot minute, so... I say hot minute like I didn't rush this last minute, but... we vibe. I think everything is queued up. I'm so scared. I feel so bad because everyone is being so wholesome and supportive in the Discord. And I'm just like, ah! Let's do it. Let's start the show. Okay. Hopefully this queues up people. If no one shows up in the beginning, it's gonna be very sad. And I will have wasted my music for nothing. Because what I am doing in the beginning is I am looping very specific songs. If you have never been to my stream before, always queue up music that relates to something that is happening in stream. Oh, someone's redeemed. Oh, someone's redeemed the Prage and the Believe and the pads. That's their first sign. That should be their first sign. There we go. If they don't get it by music, they're gonna get it by that. Oh, Jaden! Oh no! Oh, Jaden, I hope you're doing well. Oh, Elle, thank you for playing along. I appreciate you. Oh, there's sheep. There's bread. Oh, I love that Elle's playing along with the bit. Thank you, Elle. Oh, you're so... Oh, there's M. Oh, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I have never played a prank about like this before, so I feel really bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this is the first time you're coming back in such a long time. I hope you're doing well. Next song has been queued. If this isn't a hint... No, M's got it. M's on the chase. M's the first person who isn't in on this is finding out. I think they figured it out. I think M figured it out. Oh, perfect. What if Eve never shows up as a joke? Oh, I'll show up. I'll show up. Certainly. Oh god, what is disconnecting, buddy? Stop. Oh, you do not get to screw up my internet on the one day I need it to work perfectly. M's figured it out in April. They're the first person to know. Oh, Dina, you don't even know, buddy. They did not finish bullying me for artifacts. Well, I can't do that today. Aha's kinda taking over things.
No, this won't do. Blue is not my color.
Let's start that. Start queue? Socials are queued. Alright, video queued. Sound queued. I need voice.
Much better smile.
Am I going insane? Yes, you are.
Surprise! It's me, your favorite Eon of Elation. Aha, smile.
Not the baby girl. Why are you calling him baby girl? It's crazy. Okay, let's update that. It is very hard to queue everything up. No way, this shit is re-recorded. No. Oh no, I'm sorry. I hate April Fools. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to anyone who's coming in who has no idea what the f***'s going on. Oh my god, it is very long. There's a lot of tutorials. I love bloopers so much. This gives me joy. I'm glad people are getting joy out of me suffering. Because I did suffer. A lot, actually.
No, this won't do. Blue is not my color. Much better smile. surprised? It's me, your favorite Eon Revelation. Haha smile. What? You thought Eve put that stream announcement up? No. Didn't they tell you they'd be busy this week? It was me who posted that smile after all. When has Eve ever started their streams in the afternoon? Don't worry, Eve is just at work. I didn't do anything to them. Why would I? That's silly smile. What should we do today? I know. Let's learn how to get better at that little game together. What was it called? Genshin Impact or something? I might as well learn a little more about the world of Teyvat. Maybe I'll come and visit someday smile. We're going to have so much fun smile.
Hello chat. Today, we're going to be learning how to get better at Genshin Impact. And you know what the best way is to learn about Genshin Impact? No, it is not through fighting in the Abyss. No, it's not through playing the game. It's in fact through our lovely tutorials. Tutorials. Elements. About Hydro. Wet environments and hydro attacks can cause beings to become affected by hydro. When hydro meets other elements, it often triggers an elemental reaction. About cryo. Being hit by a cryo attack leaves the victim affected by cryo and decreases movement speed. When cryo meets other elements, it often triggers an elemental reaction. About pyro. Pyro attacks can cause beings to become affected by pyro. When pyro meets other elements, it often triggers an elemental reaction. Elemental reaction, frozen. When cryo meets hydro, frozen occurs. Frozen beings are rendered immobile, but also become rock hard. Elemental reaction, vaporize. When pyro meets hydro, vaporize occurs. The effect of pyro and hydro will dissipate when vaporize occurs. Elemental reaction, vaporize. Vaporize itself does not inflict damage. However, the pyro or hydro attack that triggers vaporize deals increased damage. Elemental reaction, electrocharge. When electro meets hydro, electrocharge occurs. Electrocharge continuously deals electro damage until it wears off. Elemental reaction, electrocharged. Electricity intermittently arcs off electrocharged beings, shocking hydro-affected opponents nearby. Elemental reaction, electrocharged water. Electro attacks can electrify bodies of water. Electrocharged water deals electro damage to all beings in the AoE. Elemental reaction, overloaded. When pyro meets electro, overloaded occurs. The resulting explosion deals AoE pyro damage and tears effortlessly throughout otherwise sturdy objects. Elemental reaction, superconduct. When cryo meets electro, superconduct occurs. Superconduct deals AoE cryo damage and significantly decreases physical resistance for the affected being. Elemental reaction, burning. When pyro meets dendro, it triggers burning, which continuously deals pyro damage until it wears off. Elemental reaction, swirl. When anemo meets certain other elements, it can trigger swirl. Swirl can deal elemental damage, affect beings, and generate further elemental reactions. Elemental reaction, melt. When cryo meets pyro, melt occurs. The effects of cryo and pyro will dissipate when melt occurs. Elemental reaction, melt. Melt itself does not inflict damage. However, the pyro or cryo attack that triggers the melt deals increased damage. Elemental reaction, crystallize. When Geo becomes into contact with hydro, pyro, cryo, electro elements, crystallize will be triggered. This type of elemental reaction can generate a corresponding elemental shard and provide your character with various elemental shields. Use Crystallize to effectively reduce damage taken in battle. Elemental Reaction Catalyze. When creatures are affected by Electro and Dendro, Quicken will occur, which will render them quickened. When quickened creatures are affected by Electro or Dendro attacks, their Aggravate or Spread reactions will occur respectively, causing them to take additional damage. Elemental Reaction Bloom. When creatures are affected by Hydro and Dendro, the Bloom reaction will be triggered, creating Dendro cores. Only a certain number of Dendro cores can exist at the same time. If new ones are created once this limit is reached, or if the duration of the existing Dendro cores ends, the pre-existing Dendro cores will burst, dealing AoE Dendro damage. When Dendro cores come into contact with Pyro, they will trigger Burgeon, causing even greater AoE Dendro damage. When Dendro cores come into contact with Electro, they will trigger Hyper Bloom and transform into homing sprawling shots. Tutorials. Adventure. Elemental Burst. Use of Elemental Burst. Note: using an Elemental Burst consumes all of that character's energy. Obtaining energy. Absorb elemental orbs and elemental particles to replenish energy. Dealing elemental damage, defeating opponents, or performing other actions may also generate elemental orbs. An unstoppable force. Some attacks are better than others at breaking sturdy objects. Claymores and overloaded explosions are both good examples. Shields. Elemental shields absorb damage for a character, but sustain too much damage and the shield will fail. Attacking weak spots 1. Aimed shots are great at making precision attacks on opponents' weak spots. Tip: for most humanoids, aim for the head. Attacking weak spots 2. Hitting an opponent's weak spot can temporarily paralyze or destabilize them. Try and learn the weak spots of each opponent and use them to your advantage. Placing elemental skills. Some elemental skills produce different effects depending on whether you press or hold them. Wind currents. Up currents can send you soaring up high in an instant. Just jump in, open your wind glider, and enjoy the ride. HP too low. HP is quite important. Chowing down on some lovely made dishes and visiting statues of the Seven are surefire ways of restoring your character's HP. Smoldering Flames. When afflicted with Smoldering Flames, your character will take Pyro DOT. If you can remove the Pyro attribute from the character through an elemental reaction, then this debuff will no longer apply. Condensed Ice. When afflicted with Condensed Ice, your character's stamina consumption will be increased. If you can remove the Cryo attribute from the character through an elemental reaction, then this debuff will no longer apply. Engulfing Storm. Engulfing Storm will continuously drain your character's energy. If you can remove the Electro attribute from the character through an elemental reaction, then this debuff will no longer apply. Slowing Water. Slowing Water will increase your character's skill cooldown durations. If you can remove the Hydro attribute from the character through an elemental reaction, then this debuff will no longer apply. Plunging Attacks. Unleashing a normal attack from certain distance off the ground will unleash a plunging attack instead. Fall damage is decreased when using this form of attack. Animogranum. Animograna are curious spirits bustling with wind magic that follow you around. They reduce stamina consumption. Use animo skills on them to create a wind current. Miraculous Animogramma 1. Keep an eye out for Animograna when out and about on adventures. With skill, you can use them to reach high up places that are impossible to access by other means. Miraculous Animogramma 2. When several Animogramma are put together, their power is released. Even those without animo abilities can combine 3 Animogramma to produce a wind current. Mysterious Sealy. Mysterious beings called Sealy can be found scattered all across Teyvat. If you follow them and help them to get to their final destination, perhaps something special may happen. NRE Menu 30. The NRE Menu 30, or Nutrition Ready to Eat, to use the full term, is a special item created by a certain alchemist. Completed dishes can be put inside this meal in a pouch, to be ingested quickly under various circumstances. Click to begin placing food inside. You may store one type of restorative and revival dish each within the pouch. Once equipped, you may swiftly ingest these foods. Use of the revival dish will take priority should there be a party member who is currently down. Portable waypoint. A portable waypoint is a man-made replica of a teleport waypoint. It can link to the world's ley lines to some degree, through which it can perform teleportation. When used, it sets a teleport waypoint to your current location. You can use this pocket waypoint through the map in the same manner as a normal teleport waypoint. The portable waypoint does have some limitations. However, it will vanish from its position after 7 days, and only one can be placed in a world at any time. Placing a portable waypoint in a world that already has one will destroy the pre-existing portable waypoint. Wind Catcher. The Wind Catcher is a device that can store animogramma, and can use their power to create wind currents. Once equipped, you can store the power of Animo while close to an animogramma and obtain more charges for the Wind Catcher. Using the Wind Catcher will consume a charge to generate a wind current. This is very convenient for adventuring purposes. Paramedic Transformer 1. Paramedic Transformer can transmute materials placed within and convert them into some other material. You can utilize its properties to dispose of unwanted inventory. The type of items obtained in the process seem to depend on the materials used. Place the Paramedic Transformer and fill it with the materials of sufficient quality to begin the transmutation process. Animoculi. Animoculi are scattered throughout Mondstadt. Collect these oculi and offer them to the Mondstadt statues of the Seven to obtain rewards. Paramedic Transformer 2. During the transmutation process, you need to use elemental attacks to generate enough energy for the transmutation to take place. Once the process has been completed, you can immediately collect the transformed items. Omni Ubiquity Neck. Use the Omni Ubiquity Neck to capture and detain essence of small animals in the open world. Afterwards, you may use the net as a medium to recreate their forms. Animals so recreated may be placed inside of your Seren teapot. Unfortunately, Waka Murasaki's modifications to the Omni Ubiquity Net still have some room for improvement, and there are some little critters who cannot be recreated using the net. Animals that can be captured using the net will be marked out with a net symbol in the archive. Launch Tube. After you have placed your launch tube, you can select firework parameters such as type and sequence through the ignition prep menu to fire them off as you see fit. When you have finished setting off the fireworks, enter combat or go too far from the firework, the launch tube will be automatically retrieved. You can use the modification option of your launch tube to modify the original style of fireworks to your liking. Create your own ideal pyrotechnic effects. Lumenstone Adjuvant. When you have the Lumenstone Adjuvant equipped, it will provide illumination if it contains energy. Perhaps the stone relies on a unique ley line environment, however, and as such, only works within the underground mines of the chasm. Certain special devices and creatures, such as lumen lamps and luck light flies, can be used to replenish Lumenstone Adjuvant energies. Perhaps someone in the exploration team can strengthen the power of the Lumenstone Adjuvant. Fishing Line Stabilizer. When you obtain the Fishing Line Stabilizer from the various fishing associations around the world, you can use it to assist in fishing. The Fishing Line Stabilizer will be activated by default. You can actively choose to activate or deactivate the assistance of the stabilizer. While you are capturing certain fish, you obtain certain buffs based on the number of fish of the species that you have caught in the past. For example, if you are within the ideal tension zone, your fishing will progress faster. A stabilizer at full power can even allow fishing to progress when you are not within the ideal tension zone. If you would like to check out the fish species that you have caught, you may visit Archive Living Beings. Crystal Fly Trap. After you place the Crystal Fly Trap and put specific materials inside, it will begin operation and bait crystal flies into itself. After a certain period of time, you'll be able to retrieve the crystal cores from within. Special Analysis Zoom Lens. After activating the Special Analysis Zoom Lens through your inventory or the gadget shortcut bar, you can use your camera to use a special photo taking function. After Charlotte activates this gadget, the original effects of framing, freezing point compositions hold mode cannot take effect, but you can use the special methods to take photos. Warming Sealy. Dragonspine is home to the mutated creatures called Warming Seelie. They continuously emit heat that diminishes sheer cold. Scarlet Quartz. The odd gems called Scarlet Quartzes contain a certain type of warming energy. Break them and collect their fragments to engulf your character within that energy. Under its influence, you can stop accumulating sheer cold. You can use this effect to keep warm for an extended period. Attack an opponent before its duration ends to release all the accumulated energy at once. For some reason, however, warping from here to a teleport waypoint or a Statue of the Seven will cause the power of the Scarlet Quartz to dissipate. Ancient Rime. These special ice blocks covered in peculiar patterns cannot be melted with pyro attacks. Only an attack affected by Scarlet Quartz can you neutralize this mysterious energy within this kind of solid ice. Snowstorms. Snowstorms greatly accelerate sheer cold's accumulation. If you cannot get to safety in time and are unprepared for such weather, you may face an unfortunate fate. Sub-Zero Climate. In Sub-Zero Climate, you will continuously accumulate sheer cold. When sheer cold reaches its limit, your character will start rapidly losing HP. Apart from that, due to Dragonspine's unique ley-line structure and climate, you may be unable to use some gadgets. Bonfires and other sources of heat will diminish sheer cold. There might be other special items that lessen the effect of sheer cold. Certain conditions like snowstorms and actions like swimming will accelerate sheer cold's accumulation. Carefully plan your route ahead of time to make sure that you'll survive a trip through Sub-Zero Climate. Elemental Infusion. Certain skills and effects can grant characters wielding swords, claymores, and polearms with an elemental fusion. Normal, charge, and plunging attacks will deal elemental damage of the corresponding element. The effects of multiple infusions do not stack. Additionally, some skills can convert characters' attacks, making them deal elemental damage. Even though this effect is similar to infusion, it cannot be overridden by any elemental infusion. The Mystical Wave Rider. The Wave Rider is a mysterious waterborne vehicle that can be summoned by its skipper's side using a Wave Rider waypoint. Get close to the Wave Rider to board and set sail. You can summon it from a Wave Rider waypoint at any time, but one person can only own one Wave Rider. Wave Riders can accelerate to increase their speed. Wave Riders are also armed with two different weapons, the Swift Strike and Heavy Cannons. The Heavy Cannon has more firepower, but goes on long cooldown after being fired. Hold the jump button to stop sailing and leave the Wave Rider. After leaving your Wave Rider, you can get close to it again to start sailing or use a Wave Rider waypoint to summon it to your side once more. Mysterious Memento Lens. The unique gadget known as the Memento Lens can be used to observe the surrounding world. Observe this Earth Kitsune statue through it, and something miraculous might happen. Excessive Electro. Some regions in Inazuma are affected by high electro concentration. While in these regions, you will gradually lose HP. This phenomenon is known as the Bale Thunder. Use Electrograna to protect yourself against the harmful effects of Bale Thunder. Thunder Sphere. This strange energy is known as the Thunder Sphere. It is a common sight in Inazuma. Characters who wield electro power or looked after by Inazuma can use it to move around at lightning speed. Characters carrying an Electrogrammum or affected by Electro in proximity to a Thunder Spear can move towards it at great speeds. Kamui-jima Cannon 1. A giant and powerful cannon. Normally, it requires a special kind of ammunition to fire, but you can also charge it using Electro energy. Characters carrying an Electrogrammum or affected by Electro in proximity to the Kamui-jima Cannon can charge it. Kamui-jima Cannon 2. This kind of cannon does not have a point-and-shoot aiming facility. You must adjust the elevation and orientation in order to fire on the target. Marvelous Installation. On Yashiori Island, there are two types of mechanical devices that suppress Tatarigami power. They are the Sacred Stone Mound and the Thunderbearer Mirror. When a Sacred Stone Mound is attacked, it can fire an electrical current in a specified direction. This current can remove the barriers formed by the Tatarigami's will. A Thunderbearer Mirror can receive a current fired by a Sacred Stone Mound and fire it back out in different direction. inexplicable barrier. A kind of barrier impenetrable shield known in Inazuma as a thunder barrier. For some mysterious reason, receiving the acknowledgement of an Electrograna and carrying them with you allows you to pass through such barriers unimpeded. However, some strong barriers can only be traversed with much stronger Electrogramma. Perhaps offering Electro Sigils to the sacred Sakura at the Narukami Shrine will one day allow you to pass through all areas shut off by the thunder barriers. Some thunder barriers seal thunderstones within them. These fragments of raw, unbridled energy can be temporarily suppressed with Electrograna. While a thunderstone is suppressed, the thunder barrier around it is removed. Electrograna. These mysterious spirits are called Electrograna. They spawn from thunder Sakura bows and grant the protection of Electro. Electrograna have various powers. Carry them with you to travel rapidly through thundering spheres, traverse thundering barriers, and even withstand Bale Thunder. You can offer Electro Sigils to Sacred Sakura at the Grand Narukami Shrine to enhance Electrogramma's strength. Strengthened Electrogramma will even aid travelers they connect with in fighting against their foes. Kujarai's Tamaria game. Interact with the Tamari near Kid Kujarai to play a unique Tamari-based game. Players will be split between the roles of Keeper and Thief. As Keeper, the host will need to find a safe space to put Tamari within the time limit. Travelers visiting in other worlds can take the role of thieves who need to find a way of locating the Tamari within the time limit. Lightning Strike Probe. This ruined device can detect Electro. When it detects characters or monsters affected by Electro nearby, the needle will turn to point in their direction. When the needle points in the right direction, as indicated on the base, something good might happen. Electroconduction. In some places, you'll find this mysterious combo of mechanisms, the Discharge Stone and the Accumulation Stone. The former shoots a harmless electric current and a character and monsters affected by Electro, while the latter absorbs the electrical energy from the Discharge Stone. Sometimes you will also find Relay Stones, which conduct the current released by Discharge Stones. Subtle differences between the Accumulation Stones may affect the quantity of current they require. The Thunderwood is a plant that counteracts Bale Thunder. Stand near this mystical tree to avoid being harmed by Bale Thunder. Mysterious Pillars. You can sometimes find ancient stone statues on Watatsumi Island. If you interact with them piously, they can change the state of surrounding objects and mechanisms. Electric Lamps. Inazuma is home to these ancient stone lamp stamps. They will light up upon soon making contact with Electrogramma. The Warding Stones of Serai. If you wish to restore the Warding Stone's functionality and suppress the storm once more, you must find and touch 3 sets of paper charms hung on poles that correspond with each Warding Stone. You must recall the positions of each set of paper charms and the number of paper charms on each pole. There are also paper charms hanging off the Warding Stone itself, and the stones are split into upper and lower sections that may be rotated independently. Rotate the Warding Stone such that the number of paper charms on the sections of the stone that correspond to the 3 poles match the number of charms placed there. Once you rotate the Warding Stone section such that correspondence is perfect, the seal upon it shall be reinstated. Phase Gate. In this world, there exists a type of ruin device known as the Phase Gate. When 2 phase gates are in place, it seems that an energy route is established between them. Those capable of manipulating the elements can use this to travel far and wide. Use Elemental Sight to check the way the opposite door is facing. Ishin Script. Rocks that have been marked with symbols in this manner can be found on Tsurumi Island. According to the illusions, this is known as Ishin Script. Touch these stones in the correct order, and special things may occur. Clues as to the exact order to follow can usually be found near these rocks. Tsurumi Island's Storm Stones. These appear to be ritual stone piles set up by the Tsurumi Island civilization. You can activate them using Electro. After being activated, they can prevent nearby people from getting lost in the thick fog. Mysterious Carvings. You can see unique statues of this kind on Tsurumi Island. Something special may happen if you use your feather near the statue that has been lit up. Surumi Island's perches. According to the native people of Surumi Island, the Thunderbird once perched upon these trees, and thus it is necessary to make offerings to them. Touch the perch and the power within it will transform into 3 feathers and fly away. Gather the scattered power to complete the offering process. Places of Essence Worship. The places of worship are divided into Sun Cores and Moon Cruxes. They each contain the power of White Knight and Evernight, and are capable of bestowing such power upon those who come pay obeisance. Use these energies to activate mechanisms while in opposite day-night state. Triangular mechanisms. Within a certain distance, attacks can be used to activate mechanisms. These mechanisms will reset after a while. If you find that the mechanism is currently damaged, try switching to Evernight. They'll fix themselves right up. Daises of Day and Night. Daises of Day and Daises of Night will be filled up during their respective day and night times. Get close to them to operate them. However, their states will reset when you switch between Evernight and White Knight. Of Sun and Moon. If you possess a golden bridle in Konomiya, you will have the authority to activate the mechanisms that switch between Evernight and White Knight. Such mechanisms, which can be found throughout Enkanomiya, are connected to the Dainichi Mikoshi and can be used to modify day-night cycle. Enkanomiya appears different in the Evernight and White Knight states. Use this ability to switch between day and night well in order to uncover the land's secrets. Shield lights of Tokoyo represent the White Knight are dispelled during Evernight and vice versa. There are certain distortions in the air visible in Enkanomiya, which are known as sunfire phantasms. Switching between day and night can cause these illusions to disperse or show themselves. Ghostfish. The schools of ghostfish will surround you when you're within them, allowing you to continuously glide. But watch your positioning. If you find yourself outside the group, the added lift will be lost. Key Sigil. The images known as key sigils originate in Enkanomiya. There are a total of 5 of them. Just as one key fits in one lock, each of them can release the seal with a matching image. Collect them and use them well. Ominous Dark Mud. When within this mysterious dark mud, characters will continuously lose HP and their mobility will be affected. Your Lumenstone Adjuvant's energy will also slowly drain under these circumstances. Due to some unknown reason, some monsters will also grow stronger within the dark mud. Cage-shaped geoformations. These are natural precipitates that occur around bedrock keys and used to seal the chasm. When outside forces are powered by a geogranum, hit them, and they'll fire crystal projectiles. The firing direction depends on the direction of which they took a hit. Perhaps they might be able to affect the bedrock keys in some way. Unique rock pillars. Legend has it that these scars are left over from an ancient battle. When hit by explosions or blunt force trauma, they can cause a resonant quake, with other similar rock piles and certain geoconstructs. Unique rocks. A mysterious, uniquely shaped rock related to a special rock pillar nearby. It seems to be able to receive a certain resonance from those pillars. Perhaps the number of symbols on that rock have something to do with the number of resonances it receives in a short period of time. Oozing concentrations. A strange tumorous growth that often appears amidst a dark mud and seems to sustain it. Oozing concentrations have different levels of emission strength. Only Lumenstone adjuvants of sufficient power can use blooming light or destroy the concentrations to an appropriate level. Blooming light. When Lumenstone adjuvant reaches a certain level, you can actively use its power to destroy oozing concentrations and the dark mud nearby. Some level 2 oozing concentrations are significantly tougher and will need a stronger Lumenstone adjuvant to destroy. Mysterious mailbox in Vonarana. Vonarana plays a host to a mysterious mailbox that will sometimes show strange scenes. According to your experiences traveling with Paimon, treasure might be found in locations that specifically show up in images you find. Rhythm of Revival. Aranakin's song. It can be used to borrow the power of plants to repair some broken elemental monuments. Play this song on the vintage lyre when next to these broken monuments to restore their function. Rhythm of Amada. Ararikan taught you this song. It has the power to turn Vamada such that paths can be opened. Play this song on the vintage lyre when next to these strange spheres to activate the Mamada. After this, attack the activated Mamada to cause it to rotate. Rhythm of the Gloomy Path. The song that Araji left behind. It can awaken the gloomy path in the woods and open new paths. Play this song on the vintage lyre when next to these tree hollow-like objects and unlock certain portals. Rhythm of the Beastly Trail. The song that Ariyama left behind. If you play it to the Claustrophora, you can cause certain obstacles to disappear. Play this song on the vintage lyre when next to these special flowers to clear the obstacles that correspond to them. Rhythm of the Sprout. The song Aramaha left behind. If you play it to the sprouting branches, you can summon healthy Dendrograna that can be used to revive the Valaya. Play this song on the vintage lyre when next to these branches to obtain healthy Dendrograna from within. Rhythm of the Source Water. Arapandu taught you this song. It has the power to control the Varuna contraption. Play this song on the vintage lyre when next to the Varuna contraption, and you'll be able to interact with it and change the weather in Apon Woods. Rhythm of the Great Dream. Arana's song. It has the power to enter and exit dreamscapes. This is also one of the tunes that can quickly get Aranara to recognize you. Strange Arch. These strange arches are known as phantasmal gates. Complete the challenges within, and perhaps something good will happen. Play Arana's song on the vintage lyre in front of a phantasmal gate to awaken it. After this, enter the arch to undertake the challenges. During a challenge, you must collect all the phantasmal seeds and return the phantasmal gate within the time limit. If you are hit by attacks from opponents during this time, the time allotted to you for the challenge will decrease. After you have entered the phantasmal gate, certain special dream flowers will appear. Standing within the barrier that these flowers project will cause opponents to forget your existence and allow you to exit combat. Additionally, activating these dream flowers with Electro will allow them to mark the location of the remaining phantasmal seeds for you, but this will also undo the effect of the barrier. Dendrogranum. These strange spirits that accompany the appearance of auspicious branches are Dendrograna, that symbolize the protection of Dendro. When charge attacks and aim shots hit, Dendrograna will attack alongside them. There are also some objects that will appear throughout your adventures that can only be activated or destroyed using the power of Dendrograna. Dreadful Withering. The withering is not a fixed location. Instead, it refers to areas that have been corroded by some sort of mysterious and ominous power. In these areas, characters will accumulate decay. The speed of this accumulation will differ between the withering zone that you're in. Depending on how much decay you have accumulated, all of your party members will have all of their elemental resistance, physical resistance, and match HP decreased. These stats will decrease more in accordance with the amount of decay accrued. If you remain within the withering zone after fully accumulating decay, all of your party members will fall. You must use the power of the Dendrograna to clear the withering away. Only via this method can you destroy the withering branches that spread its corrosive power. Only when all the withering branches within the withering zone are destroyed can the tumor of the withering at the beating heart of the area can be destroyed. Most withering zones can be destroyed in this way. But within the withering zones, candles of life and flames of life may appear and help to decrease the accumulation of decay. Prepare for the worst before entering withering zones. Dangers within the withering zone. There are other perils within the withering zone apart from decay. Monsters that have been corroded by this environment and fatigue boughs that grow within the area will attack characters within, causing decay to accumulate. In addition, the tumor of withering will exhort disciples of decay to come forth and attack. These are monsters who have utterly fallen under the influence of the withering and have the protection of the withering against damage. Use Dendro or Dendrograma to effectively destroy the shields guarding these monsters. Lens capable of detecting the withering. This special sort of seed mirror can be used to spot withering zones that have yet to take shape. You can use this method to stop the creation and expansion of withering ahead of time. These objects can also be activated using Electro. Energy block inside the Ruin Golem. According to Jizari, these energy blocks seem to be an auxiliary power source from the ruined golem. Slot these into the power relays to reactivate the corresponding components. Energy blocks that have been inserted can be removed and placed in a different spot. Use this method to open a path and constantly lead upwards. Fourth leaf sigil. This crest, which looks like a four-petaled flower, will sometimes appear in Sumeru. When those who manipulate the elements are facing one such crest, they can use it to travel swiftly. Sometimes you'll find cluster leaves of cultivation that can scatter these four-leaf sigils around. Use their ability to make your adventures easier. Cluster leaves of cultivation and four-leaf sigils. You will sometimes come across cluster leaves of cultivation in Sumeru, which will scatter four-leaf sigils around when they come into contact with Dendro. Use these objects to make your adventures in Sumeru easier. Bouncy mushrooms. These species of bouncy mushrooms is a type of Trilakshana creature. Under normal circumstances, you can jump on it to be bounced up to higher heights. Its electricity will further increase after you've activated with Electro. The seen and unseen. When Trilakshana creatures are activated using Electro, they will unleash a true sense pulse that may be able to display the location of certain hidden things. Triana seeds. Just as the Trilakshana creatures have normal, scorched, and activated form, these Triana seeds, which can reveal hidden objects, have similar states. When scorched, they'll stop moving, and when normal, they will move along a fixed path. When activated using Electro, they will release an even larger true sense pulse. Seal on the stone pillar. This unique sort of stone pillar seems to be the key to sealing certain ruin machines. Use pyro to neutralize the energy within them, which will then release the machines from their seal. But you aren't usually supposed to be unsealing such monsters, are you? Kusava and Aranakin. When you travel with Aranakin, you can use the Kusava to call upon his power and repair certain broken elemental monuments. Kusava and Aragaru. When you travel with Aragaru, you can use Kusava to call upon his power and destroy some stones that have been eroded by plants. Kusava and Aranaga. When you travel with Aranaga, you can use the Kusava to call upon his power and lift certain special platforms up. Nurseries in the wilds. Some of these seemingly masterless nurseries can be found within the forests of Sumeru. Follow these glowing spirits that float over these nurseries and traverse each field without interruption or repetition, and perhaps something good will happen. In truth, it isn't good to step on fields, but your footsteps seem to be able to awaken life into this plot of land. Activation and scorching. In Sumeru, special creatures exist that can transform due to stimuli from external elemental energy. These are referred to as Trilakshana creatures. When they come into contact with Electro or Pyro, they will enter either an active or scorched state. Use these objects and unique abilities of their various forms to aid in your adventure. Powers of Kusava converge. You will finally go on an adventure with Aranaga, Aranakin, and Aragaru. Use the Kusava at appropriate places to call upon the powers of the three Aranara. By switching the abilities of the Kusava, you can choose the Aranara whose help you need. Delve deeper into Matayima alongside your Aranara friends. A strange energy extraction device. The energy extractor device within the Eremite camp seems to serve some kind of unspeakable purpose. You must look for a control key somewhere in the surrounding rooms to shut it down. However, even the smallest movement might interrupt the termination sequence, so make sure to keep the area free of obstruction till the machine shuts down. The mysterious control unit. These structures, known as plinths of secret rites, may be found within King Detrit's ruins. Use them to control certain mechanism within the ruins. However, you must have a special clearance in order to use these plinths. Roadblocks. The energy barrier that bars outsiders from entering can be passed easily if you have some kind of special clearance. Conducting primal beams. The devices known as Everlight cells within King Detrit's ruins can fire primal beams. Those who approach while possessing special clearance can change the position and facing of the Everlight cells. Neverlight cells are receivers of primal beams. When the beams from the Everlight cells link with these Neverlight cells, something special might happen. Sometimes, these beams can be blocked by walls inside the ruin. You may have to operate some other devices to allow that light to pass through the wall. Large fan blades. These huge fan blades will blow out strong winds that can obstruct progress or blow primal embers away. If you wish to pass through them, you will need to wait for moments when the fan blades stop moving, or look for a device that can stop them altogether. Obscuring cells. A mysterious device within King Deshret's ruins. If you can approach it while bearing special clearance, you can cause the walls near it to become transparent illusions, which should help primal beams pass through. Verity cells. King Deshret's ruins have a great number of objects that have their original appearances obscured by a mysterious power. You must use the Verity cell in such cases to help you. When you use the Verity cell while having special clearance, you can cause invisible objects to reappear. The mysterious replicator keystones. Forged primal lights are mysterious energy aggregates found in King Deshret's ruins. Get close to them to pick them up and take them with you. Replicator keystones are a special type of platform. If you get close to them while carrying forged primal light, you can create ruin devices to aid you on your adventures. Devices made this way do not require any special clearance. Replicator keystones can be used to create the following ruin devices: Everlight cells, Neverlight cells, Obscuring cells, Verity cells, Primal sconces, and Primal sandglasses. Use the forged primal light and replicator keystones to get further into the ruins. Look out below! While exploring within King Deshret's ruins, you may encounter platforms with unique etchings on them. These platforms are named Elucidary Keystones, and when stepped on, they will disappear. Do not hesitate when you step over them. Press on. Primal Embers. These energy aggregations, known as Primal Embers, are commonly scattered throughout King Deshret's ruins. Go near the King's Sconce to obtain these Primal Embers to unleash them. Follow the Primal Embers to activate the giant Primal Torch. Once the Primal Torch is lit, King Deshret's ruins will also change. Primal Embers are very fragile, so you'll sometimes find Primal Sconces along their travel path that can serve as a transit point en route to the Primal Torch. Primal Embers can also be blown away by strong winds generated by the giant fan blades. If you wish to help the Embers continue their journey, then you must find some way to stop these fans from operating. Primal Obelisk. The Primal Obelisk was one of the hallmarks of civilization that King Deshret built, but over time, the sacred seals upon the obelisk have become lost to the four winds. Draw near and observe obelisk to locate the direction in which the lost seals have been scattered, using the obelisk's remaining power. Find the lost sacred seals and return them to the Primal Obelisk. Perhaps this will allow the obelisk to operate normally, just as they once did, and you may discover now long-lost secrets. Loose sand piles. Who knows what lies beneath those small piles of sand that are easily scattered with the power of Animo. Primal Sandglass. A giant hourglass. No one knows why it was built and then left here. When touched, it will flip and start to mark time. Rotate all the nearby primal glasses before this giant hourglass's sands run out, and you may gain some unexpected boon. Prism of Kajni Suit. The Prism of Kajni Suit is a control device within the King Deshret's ruins. It gives off an enigmatic light. If you get close to the Prism of Kajni Suit, you can control all nearby objects that get off the same light as it. You can also change the color of the prism's mysterious glow. Dodge the beams. The ancient ruin golem has become active as of late, indiscriminately using its beam weaponry to attack nearby life. The immensely powerful beams can destroy loose rocks. Pilot the ruin golem. There is nothing more exciting than piloting a ruin golem. Steady yourself, then pull the trigger and fire away. Suda's Flow. Seals made from vines can be attacked and destroyed. Scarlet Sand Slate. The activated Scarlet Sand Slate possesses a special clearance that will allow you to control various devices within the ruins of King Deshret left behind. As you adventure further in, the The Scarlet Sand Slate will progressively display key locations throughout the ruins. Follow the slate's guidance and use special clearance to unlock these devices, and you may yet reach planes that none before you ever have. Increase clearance level. Some of the devices in King Deshret's ruins will allow you to increase the clearance level of the Scarlet Sand Slate. The higher the clearance the Sand Slate possesses, the more devices it can control, which can allow you to enter areas you were not able to before. Cascade pools. The ancient ruins of the desert Hadramaveth contain such mechanisms that were once used to guide the flow of water. Hit the spouts with attacks to switch between closed and open states. When the spouts are opened, sand and grit will flow through them. Once sand and grit fills the cascade pools, some unexpected reward may be yours. Pipe diverter valve. Interacting with the pipe's steering valves will change the way in which the pipes are connected, thus adjusting the flow of objects within them. Weathered obelisk. The desert contains a mysterious matching sequence of ancient characters. You must find the corresponding location and use attacks to change and display characters to make the two groups of characters the exact same. Dual-phase Neverlight cells and dual-phase Everlight cells. Dual-phase Neverlight cells are receivers for primal beams. Compared to normal Neverlight cells, these require 2 primal beams fired from 2 Neverlight cells to activate. There exist similar dual-phase Everlight cells that can fire 2 primal beams simultaneously. Manifestation Mechanism and Signal Spirit. These manifestation mechanisms require you to bring a nearby signal spirit near them within a time limit after they are activated. They will be marked by a pillar of light at this time. There might be some unexpected reward upon reaching the final manifestation mechanism. Waynute attack. An apex predator hidden beneath the golden sands. Stay especially sharp while moving within the territory of a waynut. Weathered rocks. Slightly more fragile rocks. They can be broken when a waynute attack them. Sandstorm of the desert Hadramaveth. The desert Hadramaveth is plagued by calamitous weather on occasion. When sandstorms are ongoing, your visibility will drop precipitously. The closer you are to the heart of the sandstorm, the more intense it will be. Rune machines and sand piles. Mysterious devices found within ancient ruins can generate energy and can ablate sand piles when unlocked. When attacked, one such device can change the direction in which it projects its energy. Large ruin mechanisms. Mysterious devices found within the ancient ruins that are larger than the ruin mechanisms. Can generate energy that can ablate sand piles when unlocked. When attacked, one such device can change the direction in which it projects its energy. Runic window and runic pane switch. These triangular panes can sometimes be found within ancient ruins. You can pull the switch and open such panes and allow rune mechanism energy to pass through. The unchanging past. The memories of the Queen of all Oases have followed those oases into an unchanging past, turning into tightly shut flower buds. There may be some small guiding power within them. When touched by someone who has been chosen by the oasis, these buds will guide them to a certain spot. There, one may summon the memories of the past, and through them, change the situation in the present. Gain the guidance of the Goddess of Flowers via these means to find the lost inscriptions that once marked 3 thrones. Small atmospheric vortex. Such local anomalous atmospheric conditions in the desert of Hadramaveth will obstruct your progress. It is said that the ancient Jinn have the power to quell such weather. Jinn Shrine. Those who lived in this land of times of distant legend will set up small shrines to ancient, mysterious existences around these glowing branches. Perhaps only the Jinn still understand the purpose of such sites. Chess pieces and activation devices. If the chessboard is the realm of the golden sand, then the chess pieces atop it may refer to corresponding landmarks. Search for pieces and devices which to activate them in order to place them on the board. Jinni, the magic bottle. Lilupar. 1. Lilupar can increase visibility within a sandstorm and can predict the coming of such weather. Ginny, the magic bottle, Lilipar, 2. Lilipar has regained a portion of her energy and can use limited amounts of her Ginny's might to clear certain obstacles that block her master's way. By using her Ginny's might, Lilipar can remove small and large atmospheric vortexes. However, Lilipar will lose Ginny's might when she encounters Waynute attacks. Various ancient ruins within the desert of Hadramaveth have Jinn shrines within them, drawn near the Jinn branches and within them to restore Ginny's might for Lilipar. Ginny the magic bottle, Lilipar, 3. In the Jinn shrines, you can also interact with Jinn branches to command Lilipar to suppress or summon sandstorms. Ruin mechanism and slide rails. Some ruin mechanisms can move along paths and change positions. Grey crystals. Grey crystals are crystals left behind by remnants of corruption. Use the power of Kavrena to clear them out. But once said power retreats, the grey crystals will re-emerge. Barwicks. As a form of Kavrena scattered upon the earth, Barwicks contain the same power and will stick to your characters once picked up and affect nearby grey crystals. You can also put Fairwicks down when you need them to unleash their power. Monsters from the grey crystals. Some strangely shaped grey crystals may also contain unpurified rift hounds. When crystals dissipate due to the effects of Kavrena, these monsters from a bygone era may reawaken. Rue Bright Bloom. These rootless flowers hover in midair. Sarush can use her power to cause them to transform into floral platforms to reveal the 4-leaf sigil within the bud. Special 4-leaf sigil. These special 4-leaf sigils can be affected by the power of Amrita and can be moved by Sarush. Press Sarush's interact skill to pick them up and place them where they are needed. Burgeoning Spirit. These tree vines have ensnared the scattered Kavrena. Sarush can use her power to extract this energy and channel it into the vines. Some of the tree vines have been affected by great crystals and require additional Kavrena energy for their snare to be loosened. Soul Bell. The Soul Bell is an ancient artifact of the Order of Skeptics, which they made together with the Pari for the use of the trials meant to choose human heroes. It used Kavrena in its manufacturer, and thus can be engraved with past memories. Ruin Cannon. A heavy cannon found in the proving grounds of the ruins. It was originally used to test some mechanical functionalities, and when activated, it possessed unimaginable power. Aim the Ruin Cannon and attack the golem's core to deal effective damage to it. When the golem releases its energy shield, quickly destroy the 3 points at each corner of the shield to render it ineffective. Bright Flame Altar. An altar once used for skeptics' rituals. You wonder how it ended up here. Obtain a seed of fire that can be carried between altars, but the seed of flame is like a candle in the wind. So find your way to the other altar before it goes out. Kavrena Barrier. Mysterious orbs of light that contain coalesced Kavrena can be found scattered across this land. When Sarush awakens the power within these orbs, they'll expand the barrier that can deflect incoming attacks to an extent. Hold Sarush's interact skill to continuously summon a barrier of Kavrena and maintain it. Kori Drum. These drums were created by the Order of Skeptics' ancestors. Hit them according to a specific method to cause the elemental power within to resound. There are 3 ways of hitting these drums. Normal attacks will create a light sound, while plunging attacks will create a heavy one. Stay still to create a pause. There are often drum scores near Kori drums. The scores are comprised of various leaves that are split into 3 categories: empty, half, and full, which correspond to pause, light, and heavy beats. Read the scores from left to right and top to bottom. After your performance begins, each glimmer of a Kori drum represents 1 beat. Follow the score and beat to create the corresponding drum beat and complete your performance. Ruin Mechanism. Rotate the device to change the cipher displayed on it. When the cipher is correctly displayed, the device will be unlocked. Light Call Path. These following paths were once built by Pari for the brave souls who fought alongside them. Sarush can use her power to deploy floating orbs that have been closed to pave the way for her companions. A mysterious energy control system. These ancient underground ruins left by the Conrians rely on a mysterious energy to control systems to operate. A series of many energy relays provide energy to it, and some parts have ceased operation due to the effect of the Great Crystals. Rotate the mixer to change the flow of direction of the energy on the circuit. Some mixers that are not bolted down to the energy circuit can also move along it. When energy is routed to the control device, you can activate and use the corresponding facilities. Cravashi Tree. A mysterious plant created by a pari who has used the last of their strength. A lingering pari with memories of ancient days is contained within. Sarush can use her powers to awaken the residual pari inside the Cravashi trees. If the languishing obsessions of these spirits are extinguished, perhaps the pari, thus scattered abroad, may yet meet again in the sea of flowers. Offer the plumes of purifying light you obtain from Cravashi trees to Amrita pool to return all the memories of the Kavrena back to the flowery sea. The Great Songs of Kavrena. The Great Songs of Kavrena are physical manifestations of Kavrena's might, collected and fused by the first pari within the flowery sea, used to cleanse the land of impurity. The power of the Kavrena creates the barrier in its area. Only the pari within the twin-horned chaplet can touch them. Sarush, with the chaplet, may use her power to collect them. Sarush, Bloom Guard of the Pari. Pari are mysterious creatures, and as the Bloom Guard of her race, Sarush can replace your characters to fly and move. When Sarush is in flight, your character will stay in one place to await her return. While in flight, Sarush can ascend or descend and use the Accelerate skill to increase her flight speed. Sarush cannot be too far from your character though. A Bloom Guard should never abandon others after all. Sarush can call upon special energies within items around which mysterious mayflies dance. Press Sarush's Interact skill to allow her to use her power to guide the might of Kavrena. Hold her Interact skill to cause her to stop and continuously channel Kavrena might. During this time, you can control your character freely. As a pari, Sarush can also perceive some things beyond normal human sight. Plumes of Purifying Light. Plumes of Purifying Light are the fragments left behind by entities of the Kavrena who have used up all of their strength. Only pari such as Sarush can retrieve them. Some plumes will flee when Sarush approaches. She must successfully give chase and retrieve these plumes. Some other plumes will split into many leaves when Sarush draws close. Collect all of these leaves to retrieve the complete plume. Undumbra. The Undumbra are mysterious flowers that will only grow when Sarush has awakened the power stored within the runestones. Hold Sarush's Interact skill to cause the Undumbra to stay in bloom. It is said that in ancient times, the pari would harvest the pistils formed by the blooming Undumbra to use as offerings onto a dead god. The Purple Mist in the Swamp. Astipatravana Swamp is the perennial target of the corruptive forces and is blanketed by a dangerous purple mist. Sarush can use her powers to awaken the power of Kavrena that flows within the thorny branches. After using this power to disperse the purple mist, the manifestation of defilement within will make itself known. The defiled entities that lie concealed within the bog are the source of the purple mist. Only by destroying them can the mist be parted. Normal attacks do not work against them, and only the power of the Niroda fruits can completely purify them. Niroda fruit. The Niroda fruits are born by special plants that have been nourished by the Amrita, and their juices contain that same mysterious power. Press Sarush's Interact skill to cause her to harvest Niroda fruits and gain the ability to throw them, using their power to stand against impurities. As they contain Amrita, the Niroda fruit's juices can also melt through special crystals created by solidified Amrita. Mysterious floating stones within the defiled chambers. The mysterious floating stones within the defiled chambers can only be seen by a pari like Sarush. Hold her Interact skill to cause her to stop. She can cause these floating stones to appear. Mysterious Amrita Seal. These strange seals seem to have been created through the Marika's power, and after Sarush gains the Twin Horn Chaplet, she can use its power to temporarily dispel them. Hold Sarush's Interact skill to cause her to stop in place, which should make it easier to progress. Mysterious Energy Receiver. These strange devices seem to be able to channel energy into large machines. When the energy is linked up to these devices via circuits, the machines linked to them will also be activated. Defiled Beacon. A manifestation created by the abyssal energies that have constantly accumulated in this place due to the effect of the defilement. This entity will constantly attack nearby life. Sarush can use the power of Kavrena to purify it. Fontaine's Blessing. A mysterious power that flows out from a statue to imbue you with the blessings of transoceanic source water. Your progress will remain unhindered for so long as you are moving within the lakes of Fontaine. Under the protection of the transoceanic source water, what you expend while moving underwater is not stamina, but aquatic stamina. As such, when your aquatic stamina is expended, you will not drown. The miraculous Antoine Roger aircraft. This is an experimental aircraft that is propelled by energy created from Pneuma-Osa annihilation reactions. It will proceed along its set route upon being activated. Though Antoine Roger claims that nothing will happen during your journey, the truth of the matter might not be as he so claims. Resolve any issues you might encounter along your voyage to ensure that you arrive at your destination smoothly. If the aircraft isn't on the platform at its original position, you can use Recall to begin a thrilling and absolutely safe aerial voyage. Fontaine's Currents. Enter these strong and fast water currents and go with the flow to arrive to your destination. Although you cannot change the general direction you're moving in, you can still move around to a certain extent in these currents. Pneumosa Relay. A mysterious clockwork mecha device created by the special energy systems produced by Fontaine. It possesses 3 energy states: Usa, Balance, and Pneuma, and these states can be altered when attacked by their opposite. Among these 3, the balanced state should be the proper state objects exist in, but with many things in the world, what is proper is rarely what is common. Enhanced Pneuma-Osa Amplifier. A mysterious clockwork mecha device created by the special energy system produced by Fontaine. This device will grant powerful buffs to the troublesome opponents faced by adventurers or bandits. Of course, as this is a clockwork mecha, you can use a Pneuma-Osa annihilation reaction to overload the system and shut down. Pneuma-Osa Block. Energy blocks can be naturally occurring or artificially created, and are separated into Pneuma blocks and Usa blocks. After collecting an energy block, your next normal, charge, or plunge attack will, upon hit, release energy stored within them. This will become handy when adventuring in a place like Fontaine. With the aid of these energy blocks, characters can unleash Pneuma or Osa energies, even while underwater. Most characters from Fontaine have Archi, and thus can use attacks to trigger energies corresponding to their Archi attribute underwater without the use of Pneuma-Osa blocks. Pneuma-Osa Storage Box. A super safe storage box that absolutely cannot be opened in any way. That is, unless someone manages to figure out if the energy it's emitting is Usa or Pneuma, and uses an attack charged with the opposite alignment to strike, overload, and unlock it. Beastly Rift. This appears to be some kind of fantastical arcane formation left by someone. It will summon monsters from another world that will try to break the crystals restraining the formation. During the challenge, you must defeat all attacking monsters while ensuring that crystals stay intact. The Prisms within Elenus. 1. You can sometimes find these mysterious red crystals within Elenus' body. When stimulated with an outside force, they will project energy in the corresponding direction, which can then resonate and eliminate such stone-covered rest crystals. Moreover, some crystal prisms will exist in an inactive state, and will only be activated after receiving a power unleashed by other crystal prisms. Prisms within Elenus. 2. Certain prisms can be picked up and redeployed at certain locations nearby. Miraculous Hydrograna. Naturally, a hydro-abundant nation like Fontaine will have such mysterious phenomena as Hydrograna.
After you collect 3 hydrograna, they will combine into a hydro core that will continuously apply hydro to the surrounding environment. Even if you have not collected all 3 of them, if characters can cause hydrograna to grow into a hydro core, continuously affected by hydro. Water volume detection crystals. These mystical crystal constructs seem to have originally been designed to test the dampness of its surroundings, but it seems that it can only detect its own dampness and react accordingly. In situations it is continuously affected by hydro, maybe something nice and unexpected might occur. Echoing conch. This seems to be a special biological device made by some ancient civilization in Fontaine, created for various types of training. When activated, it generates visible sound waves that can detect invisible objects nearby. Sonar resonance points. Using the Blubberbee's sonar capabilities or the echoing conch's unique properties, you can discover some locations that resonate within their effects. Sometimes, these discoveries might reveal some unexpected treasures. Narcissus Evil Bubble Formations. A defensive device that can lock on and fire mist bubbles at those brave enough to enter its targeting range. Use condensed water planks or the terrain to approach and extract the hydrogranum that allows it to operate. Bubble formation, but it's not evil this time. A bubble formation that for some reason doesn't attack you, but helps you unseal treasures. Control the currents and barriers to guide the mist bubble to a ring device at the end. High pressure water vent. As the name suggests, it is a high-pressure water vent that can spray out underwater currents and move characters or certain objects. When you have the Armor Crab shield from an Armor Crab, you can resist the current's propulsion. Fantastical Floating Ball. A mysterious sphere-shaped device that seems to be capable of detecting water pressure at certain depths based on variables of weight. It will activate when affected by high-pressure water currents or other similar factors. The ring device will activate upon contact with the sphere due to mysterious reasons. Abilities of the transoceanic source water and the xenochromatic creatures. Sometimes these strange clusters of transoceanic source water will appear besides you, allowing you to unleash power due to your will and deliver attacks. When attacking special xenochromatic Fontaine aberrants, their powers can be absorbed for a certain period. Xenochromatic Hunter Ray's ability. Release Fontamer water blades that are long and sharp. Hold to aim and release. Use this ability to cut the weak sections of the Fontamer seagrass and destroy them. Xenochromatic Blubberbee's ability. A pulsing sonar wave that has detection-based capabilities. Holding it down will allow you to aim while continuously releasing sound waves. Xenochromatic Armor Crab's ability. Creates a heavily armored shield capable of releasing shockwaves that can shatter stones. Holding it down will continuously expand the shield, and when you release the skill, this will release a shockwave in the direction that you are aiming. If you're attacked during this time, it will unleash an even stronger energy bolt. Bullet Barnacles. A danger underwater life form that can fire energy bolts at nearby characters. Holding down the armor shield can allow it to absorb attacks and release them as energy bolts, giving your attackers a taste of their own medicine. Bond of Life and Recovering HP. Bond of Life will absorb healing effects that a character receives. This will prevent them from recovering HP. After this character is healed for a certain amount equal to the Bond of Life, the bond can then be cleared. When a character is granted another Bond of Life, the healing required to clear the Bond of Life will also stack. The Bond of Life has a very long duration, if not actively cancelled or removed by the Statue of the Seven. Pneuma, Uisa, and their mutual annihilation. These are the properties found in the life forms, earth, air, and watery veins of Fontaine. The collision between energies of different properties causes annihilation and the production of greater energies. It is the principle that powers many clockwork mecha. Of course, the power supply of these mecha is unstable, resulting in Pneuma or Uisa aligned energy states. Attacks with the opposite alignment can be used to overload and disable their power supplies. Recovery Orb. You will sometimes see these energy-emitting blocks underwater. Touching them will cause your character to absorb the energy within them, restoring aquatic stamina and HP. The resilience of vitality of Fontamer seagrass. Some weak sections of the Fontamer seagrass will shine with a special light. These must all be completely cut using Fontamer water blades, or they will regrow. Underwater Numa Osa energies. Most characters from Fontaine have an Archi, and thus can use their attacks to trigger energies corresponding to their Archi attribute underwater without use of Numa Osa blocks. Press operation and widget processing. For the modeling process, you must place the unprocessed parts into a machine, and then interact with the machine to start the challenge. When some parts get stuck while rotating, you will need to attack the rotating part to restore the machine's function. When the part's base glows, jump to complete the modeling process at once. When you finish, you must retrieve the successfully processed parts. Penetration Ring Challenge. The targets will come up in order. When the target light turns blue, you must attack the targets in the order of which they came up. Successfully following this order 4 times will complete the challenge. Conversely, attacking in the wrong order a certain number of times will cause you to fail. Manually interrupting the challenge or leaving the challenge area will also cause you to fail. Energy Transfer Terminal. A device that resembles a research terminal. You can access the transfer terminal's viewfinder to collect and transfer energy from different storage devices. If there is another transfer terminal within your viewfinder, you can switch to that other transfer terminal's view by aiming your crosshairs at that said terminal and pressing it. All collected energy will be transferred to said new terminal. Other than transferring energy, a transfer terminal can also convert cipher letters within its view to its text. Fixed storage device and energy transfer device. Storage devices can provide energy to transfer and research terminals. Pick up a portable storage device and put it next to a terminal that has stopped functioning to return it to normal operation. Stabilizer. A device that seems stable, but is in fact not. You must hit the device when the circle is within the blue lit check zone to stabilize it. Xenochromatic Jellyfish ability is to throw a hat-shaped bomb that explode at your command. Hold to aim and place the Bing Bang Hot Bomb, which has stronger explosion and wider AoE. Press again after placing to detonate it. Red Meanies and Mini Meanies. A dangerous creature that is accustomed to dominating underwater paths, which will attack any entity that approaches it without discrimination. Defeat all red meanies and mini meanies in the elimination zone within a short time, or meanie ringleader will keep regenerating. Transformed Allogravity Condensed Water Body. A dangerous liquid that has been modified somehow by the energy flowing from the condensation components. If you remain within the liquid for too long, you accumulate turbulent energy flow. If you hit the accumulation limit, all your characters will drown. Multi-directional connection control drive valve. A mechanical device that is exceedingly complex to operate, but it can open and close the paths that lead from the abandoned production zone in various directions. When activated, the arrowhead-equipped core gear, drivetrain, and gear drivetrain will turn. Operate the device when the arrows are pointing in opposite directions to cause the device to stop spinning, upon which the path indicated by the core gear drivetrain's arrow will open. Flying Energy Thief. It is said to be one of the security measures set up inside the Geo mineshaft. It will actively pursue entities carrying storage devices and will use small yield explosions to disable those storage devices. To anything that is not holding a storage device, however, they pose no threat at all and appear to be no more than pretty little balls. Strange Eel. A strange underwater life form that moves quickly across the seabed. Use abilities of Xenochromatic Hunter's Bray, the Xenochromatic Armored Crab, and the Xenochromatic Blubberbeast, or the Xenochromatic Jellyfish, to temporarily stop these creatures from moving so quickly. You don't need that much water. A jade water fruit condensed from excessive amounts of hydro. Due to its internal pressure, it will sometimes spew bubbles, and when it loses a certain amount of water, it will start spewing bubbles in all directions to attack nearby entities. You may have to use elemental reactions to cause the fruit to completely lose all of its water if you want to obtain what it contains. Sword of Narcissan Crux. Your destiny with Narcissan Crux have come to a conclusion, but power still remains within the Holy Blade. Immersing the Sword of Narcissan Crux in the font brimming with magical power within the story of Anapausis can change the sword's alignment between Numa and Wisa. Contaminated bacterial mats. In the wilds of Fontaine, you may occasionally encounter these over-lively, perhaps due to outside influences, contaminated bacterial mats. The contamination clots and contamination cores within can be cleansed by the abilities of the xenochromatic ball octopus and other xenochromatic fonter aberrants. Due to evolution, sometimes contamination clots will link together with each other. If these connected contamination clots are not all cleansed, previously removed clots will regenerate. Some contamination cores will be protected by an impenetrable shell, and the surrounding clots must all be cleansed before the shell is removed and the core can be attacked. Some contamination cores have even evolved the ability to attack and will defend themselves. Others may actively hunt, seeking more nutrients. A machine with xenochromatic ball octopus abilities? Sometimes you may see these strange ecological research devices on land. Perhaps because transoceanic source water has identified the power of fonter aberrants. After interacting with them, you can use the power of the xenochromatic ball octopus within a certain range, even when on land. The abilities of the xenochromatic ball octopus, which is to spout out a strange water-colored energy, hold to aim, and release continuously. Harmonious reed pipe. The harmonious reed pipe requires the ripples released by bursting dew bubbles to be activated. The number of ruins displayed on the top shows which order is required to activate the same group of harmonious reed pipes for the challenge. When there are multiple pipes within the same number of ruins, these pipes must be activated at the same time. Dew bubble. Dew bubbles will burst when they are attacked, releasing ripples. They can be moved by the abilities of the xenochromatic ball octopus, so this method may be used to change their position. When the dew bubbles are being moved, the circle that appears may be used to preview the area of effect of their ripples when they burst. When two small dew bubbles touch, they will merge into a large dew bubble. And when that bursts, it will release ripples within an even larger area of effect. Dew branches that can sometimes be seen around can produce dew bubbles. But like many other things, when contaminated bacteria mat surrounds them, they will cease their activity. These ripples are necessary to complete the harmonious reed pipe challenges, and can also interact with hydro-elemental monuments and other mechanisms and objects sensitive to the hydro-element. Humongous hat jellyfish. An extremely elastic Fontanian creature that can suck in and launch characters into the air. It is said to be the final evolutionary form of the hat jellyfish. The energy of the xenochromatic ball octopus can sometimes be used to move them in other directions. Floating crystal flowers and floating crystal platforms. A peculiar combination of mineral and plant. When affected by the energy of the xenochromatic ball octopus, it will begin spinning for a period of time. After floating crystal flowers start spinning, floating crystal platforms will appear. The floating crystal platforms will appear as the floating crystal flowers rotate, then become invisible, and finally disappear as the flower cease spinning. Potential energy orbs can receive energy from xenochromatic ball octopuses and convert it into stored energy that can be fired in the direction of a character is facing when the energy flow is interrupted. The potential energy orb challenges usually exist alongside golden signs that can detect the presence of characters. Only when a character stands next to the golden sign will the targeting receptacle for the potential energy orb appear. Dangerous autocannons. A weapon that mostly appears near sunken ships. When a character appears within its line of sight and attack range, it will lock on and attack. In most circumstances, you can follow the energy flow to find the missing crystal receiver nodes or the autocannons. After inserting the nodes into the ship's cannons by continually releasing xenochromatic ball octopus energy at them, the ship's autocannon control permissions can be overridden. It will then cease attacking characters and can be manually controlled. Operable mechanism, regulating valve. Use 2 crystal receiver nodes to create a bidirectional valve. Though it is not the original design or intended use, the energy of the xenochromatic ball octopus can push the receiver nodes, adjusting the valve direction clockwise or counterclockwise, and operating it in associating mechanisms in this way. Sometimes the missing receiver nodes need to be found. Operable mechanism, feather valve. Use 1 crystal receiver node to create a bidirectional valve. Although it is not the original design or intended use, the energy of the xenochromatic ball octopus can push the receiver nodes, pushing the feather valve to operate in one direction. After the current stops, the feather valve will automatically revolve back to its original position. Associated or connected mechanisms will operate along with the valve. Sometimes the missing receiver nodes need to be found. Operable mechanism, track assemblage. A set of mechanisms. Normally, the constituent components include tracks, crystal chunks, crystal pedestals, and a device to operate the crystal chunks, such as regulating valves and feather valves, and sometimes the tracks will also have dispatch switches. Using the regulating valves to place all the crystal chunks onto the crystal pedestals is the goal of the challenge. When the dispatch switch is activated, it will block tracks and ensure nothing on the tracks can pass through. Using the dispatch switch, you can coordinate the locations of multiple crystal chunks and ensure they come to a stop on the crystal pedestals. Operable mechanism, Eliphas beam. This device was the result of early forays into optical science by the Institute of Natural Philosophy, while they were still a budding academic organization. Its basic components include beam generators and beam receivers. The beam generator must sometimes be installed on a beam receiver base, similar to a regulating valve, and can be controlled and rotated through the use of energy from a xenochromatic ball octopus. Operable mechanism, lifting column. A movable column that can be raised and lowered through the crystal receiver node on the base. Though it was not the original design or intended use, the energy of the xenochromatic ball octopus can control the receiver nodes, allowing it to be raised and lowered depending on its base. Normally, when the base has 1 receiver node, after the column is raised, it will slowly fall again over time. But with 2 receiver nodes, raising and lowering the column can be controlled separately. Sometimes the lifting column can extend to the other side of the ground or the wall. Operable mechanism, track assemblages, and Eliphas beams. There will be sometimes spherical beam relays on the tracks, and their movement can be controlled by regulating valves. When they receive a beam, the beam relays will fire off another beam in a certain direction. Operable mechanism, vertical lifting columns, and Eliphas beams. Sometimes there will be a beam receptor mirror and an associated beam projector mirror on a lifting column. When a beam shines on the receptor mirror, it will be emitted from the convex projector mirror. Sometimes lifting columns will have spherical beam relays. When they receive a beam, they will transfer it to the associated beam generator, which will project a beam outward. Receiver nodes can control the direction of the beam generator. Energy flow. Within these ruins, there is a strange, watercolored energy flow that seems to follow established channels as they flow along. Alternatively, there are devices on the tracks that can gather these energy flows. These strange devices can even use lifts to transfer these flows to a higher or lower level channel. The final goal seems to be to guide the energy into the large machine in the middle of the ruins. Energy flow, 2. On the channels required for energy to flow, sometimes corners will have dispatch devices that can adjust energy flow direction. Based on their shape, you may be able to determine the direction energy will flow. And there are often mechanisms to change the direction of these dispatch devices nearby. A huge shell. After being struck, it may open in a stress reaction. Perhaps there's something amazing inside. The Tower of Isipsinus's optical couplers. This tower contains highly specialized active machines and Eliphas beam emitters. The roof of some floors will contain beam-emitting assemblies that you can turn using the corresponding mechanical valves. The matching item to this is an especially designed beam receptor. As the name suggests, it will only be activated after it absorbs a beam. The wheeled assembly carrying the custom beam emitter can use the mechanical means to adjust its horizontal position. Jade Cascade. Use the adeptal energy granted by Fujin to freely move the jade hairpin she left behind. Move the jade hairpin to insert it into the right place. If placed correctly, the sacred spring gushing from the jade hairpin will touch the spirit orb on the stone carp statue and reactivate it. Miasma. Since antiquity, an anomaly known as the miasma has been endemic to the mountains and rivers of Chenyu Vale. If an ordinary person inadvertently inhales this gas, they will often suffer from headaches and chest pain for days. Miasma may not be fatal to humans, but long-term exposure to it does affect wild animals and monsters, making them more violent than usual. The more powerful the monster, the more severe the effects. Try defeating the leader of the monsters before following the trail to the source of miasma in the area and purifying it with adeptal energy. Millennia of history that have their eyes on us. Use the adeptal energy granted by Fujin to restore the collapsed ancient ruins to some extent. After taking a close look at the ruins, put each object back in the correct position and orientation. Jade Incense Cauldron. Use adeptal energy to resonate with the jade cauldrons scattered throughout the mountains. Use the adeptal energy contained within the jade cauldrons to briefly light the censers on the path of the sacred veins. If you can light all the censers at once, something marvelous might happen. Scenes of Flowing Lotuses. Use adeptal energy to light the lotus lamps strewn about the rivers. Use the lotus lamp's auspicious light to briefly light nearby lotus lanterns. Adeptal energy can be used to pack up a lotus lantern, such that it can light all lotus lanterns in the area around you, or to place it at a suitable location. If you can light up all the lotus lanterns in a single area at once, something marvelous might happen. Flighty Simulacrum. When you approach one of these peculiar stone carvings, you'll become light as a feather. Even a small hop can send you soaring to previously unattainable heights. It may be a stone carving, but for some reason it gives off a certain ineffable lightness. Curious, just what is it modeled after? Carefree Simulacrum. A peculiar stone carving. Use the adeptal energy granted by Fujin to move these heavy-looking stone carvings with ease. It may be a stone carving, but for some reason, it looks all too carefree. Curious, just what was it modeled after? Listen to their languid words and put them back in their correct places. But remember, not all stone carvings will return to their original positions willingly. Wrathful Simulacrum. Use the adeptal energy granted by Fujin on such peculiar stone statues to launch orbs of water in the shape of a golden carp in the direction of your choice. It may be a stone carving, but for some reason, it looks rather annoyed. Curious. No need to fret. These huffing-looking stone carvings won't truly get mad at you regardless of your choices. Golden Carp's Leap. You may glimpse wondrous pearls of water scattered in the wilds of Chenyu Vale that have absorbed errant adeptal energy and now float. Use the adeptal energy granted by Fujin to briefly transform into a golden carpfish and enter them. Once you're inside the pearls of water, you can go anywhere you please, and you can hold the jump button to leave vertically. This way, you can cross over the mountains and forests with ease, just like the golden carpfish in Legends of Yore. Tutorials. System. World level increase 1. The world level increase along with your adventure rank, giving more bountiful treasures. But naturally, the opponents you encounter will also grow stronger. Sometimes you'll need to complete adventure rank ascension quests to increase world level. Learn more at the Adventurers Guild. World level increase 2. When your world level increases, you'll gain more bountiful treasures, but the opponents roaming the world will also grow stronger. Unlocking domains. A new domain has been unlocked. Domains hide precious treasures. Be sure to explore the domains scattered all over the world to find the treasures hidden within. Show cursor. Hold left alt to show the cursor and click on screen buttons. Original resin. Original resin can be used to vitalize petrified trees found deep in domains, as well as various ley line blossoms found across Teyvat. Doing so will grant you valuable treasure. Consumed original resin will gradually regenerate back its limit over time, or can be immediately replenished by spending primogems. Leyline Blossom. Leyline blossom openings that are generated in response to someone's will. Touch the opening and defeat all opponents to reveal a leyline blossom. You may spend original resin to receive extravagant treasures. Adventure rank. Your adventure rank has reached the maximum. From now on, all adventure EXP received will be converted to Mora. World level adjustment. The change world level function is now unlocked. When you view world level details, you can now decrease the world level by 1, or restore your world level. Serenity Pot. After using and summoning the Serenity Pot, travelers can interact with it to enter the abode within. Travelers can also use and summon the pot while they are within its confines. Interacting with the Serenity Pot in this state will allow travelers to leave it. Travelers can also directly open the map interface, fast travel to any of the teleport waypoints to immediately leave the Serenity Pot. Talk to the teapot spirit inside the Serenity Pot to learn about and manage all manner of teapot-related affairs. You can create all kinds of items from the creation screen. Materials used to create items can be gathered all over the world. After obtaining a furnishing, use the place function to put it in position. Place furnishings to increase the Adeptal rank of your Serenity Pot. As your Adeptal energy rank increases, realm currency will accumulate at a faster rate. Spend realm currency in the realm teapot to purchase various items. Once in a while, a teapot traveling salesman will visit your abode. There is a chance that he'll bring some rare treasures with him. If you acquire the blueprint for a furnishing set, you can place furnishings by batch. You can still make adjustments to individual furnishings when batch placing them. Collecting wood. Birch, a tall tree that originates in the far north, which has since spread all over Teyvat. It produces a great many branches and is a key woods resource throughout various nations. Birches are a common sight in the Windwhale Highland and other places. Cut a birch down to obtain birch wood. Kuihua tree, a tree from which fruits hang heavy. They say that some lush trees had fruits and cores, which both had the color of sunset, hence earning them the moniker of Kuihua tree. Kuihua trees are oft found in Starfell Valley and Bishui Plain. Cut a Kuihua tree down to obtain Kuihua wood. Pine, a majestic tree with needle-like leaves which can live for up to thousands of years. Their sturdy forms can be found all over the continent, their winter-withstanding bones still standing strong in warmer lands. This has earned them the nickname of the Winter Pines. These trees are endemic to the Dragonspine region and other areas. Cut a pine down to obtain pine wood. Sandbearer tree, a tree with especially thick branches. This tree is exceedingly hardy, for its roots reach deep, and it fears neither dry seasons nor evil weather. It is said that such a tree can survive in the desert, and even beat back the effects of salinization and drought, which is why it is honored as the Sandbearer tree. Such trees are commonly found in the area around Minlin, Lisha, and other locations. Cut a Sandbearer tree down to obtain Sandbearer wood. Chingsa bamboo, an emerald bamboo from Mount Chingsa that stands proudly, straight as any sword. It is often used as a symbol for pure, righteous, and all-enduring gentlemen. One may find a Chingsa bamboo in the vicinity of Bishui Plains and other places. Cut Chingsa bamboo down to obtain bamboo segments. Cedar, a tall, lush, and dignified tree that is evergreen throughout all seasons. Even the chilling wind and snow cannot mar its emerald greenery. Cedars are common in the area around Starfell Valley and elsewhere. Cut a cedar down to obtain fragrant cedar wood. Faber's fir, a tree that can be commonly found. Once it has adapted to its surroundings, it will grow swiftly into worthy timber. Faber firs can also be found in the areas along Gale Song Hill, Starfell Valley, and others. Cut a Faber fir down to obtain fir wood. Sakura tree. An elegant tree that is pleasing to the eye, sporadically found across eastern sides of the nation. When the tree blossoms, it takes the appearance of a drifting pink cloud, and is often regarded as one of the most beautiful features in Inazuma. Sakura trees can be found dotting the landscape of Narukami Island and other places. Cut a sakura tree down to obtain Yumebiru wood. Amur maple. A slender tree that sways with fan-shaped leaves red as fire. Its vibrant color paints the mountainside in red, and often quoted in a poem and song as a symbol of late autumn. Amur maples can be found dotting the landscape of Narukami Island and other places. Cut an Amur maple down to obtain maple wood. Inazuma cedar. A straight and sturdy tree with uniquely shaped leaves and form that makes it easy to identify. Inazuma cedars can be found across Narukami Island and in other places. Cut an Inazuma cedar down to obtain Aralia wood. Otogi tree. A plain and ordinary looking tree found throughout Inazuma. Some nursery rhymes portray the tree as the whisper of nature, which has coined its name, Otogi tree, meaning the tree that keeps one company. Otogi trees can be found all across Inazuma. Cut an Otogi tree down to attain Otogi wood. Brightwood tree. Uniquely shaped plants that are long-lived indeed. Its structure is unlike that of its arbors, presenting a rather free-spirited and changeable appearance. It is also hardy indeed, which allows it to survive in both rainforests and the desert. Cut a brightwood tree down to obtain brightwood. Karmaphala tree. A tree with a most unique look that loves high-temperature environments. Its wood is of highest quality. It's said that its habitats can cause it to produce different colored canopies. Cut Karmaphala trees down to obtain Karmaphala wood. Adhigama tree. This tree can be commonly found in Sumeru. Most of them are spread throughout the nation's eastern rainforest and has spent much time in companionship with its researchers and forest rangers. As such, it has witnessed many moments of dawning comprehension. Cut Adhigama trees down to obtain Adhigama wood. Mountain date tree. This tree has a vivid, unique look. Its stem is wide and thick, and its bark is increasingly hardy, allowing it to survive in the searing desert. Cut mountain date trees down to obtain mountain date wood. Athel tree. A tree that can be found in hostile environments. It has a vibrant and uniquely shaped leaves, and its root system is quite vast. These trees can, whenever necessary, enter a state in which they use the minimum amount of energy, which is a survival method unique to it. Cut athel trees down to obtain athel wood. Mallow tree. This towering tree has a unique bark texture that protects it from pests in extremely wet environments. Despite its short lifespan, it's extremely easy to plant and cultivate in large numbers. Cut down mallow trees to get mallow wood. Linden tree. This tree, with its massive amount of leaves and a sprawling crown, is an ideal choice for rose-sized shade. As some of their leaves are said to be heart-shaped, such trees are also called heartleaf lindens. Cut down linden trees to get linden wood. Ash tree. Seemingly weak and thin, this tree is actually so resilient as to grow rapidly in humid mountains and highlands. Its leaves sport light colors. Cut down ash trees to get ash wood. Cypress tree. This tall tree is very easy to recognize. According to legends, long-lived specimens of this species have trunks of extraordinary girth. After heavy rains, these trees give off a refreshing scent. Cut down cypress trees to get cypress wood. Torch tree. This plant species has a unique appearance and is named after its eye-catching red leaves. Due to their relatively small numbers and low economic value, there has not been much in-depth academic research into these trees. Cut cut down torch trees to get torch wood. Fishing. If you should see ripples in a nearby water body, this means that it is a fishing point. Get close to this fishing point and interact with it to start fishing. Fish are quite sensitive to their surroundings. If you stand too close or perform combat actions, the fish will be frightened and will scatter, and they will take a while to calm down and come closer to the water body again. Different water bodies contain different species of fish. While preparing to fish, you can view the species that can be found here and select the appropriate rod and bait. You can obtain blueprints for making bait from various fishing associations. Learning them will allow you to make bait at any crafting bench. Note that different fish are attracted to different types of bait. Hold the cast rod button to enter aiming mode. Let go of said button to flick your bait and hook out. If your hook lands too far from the fish, its ability to attract them will greatly decrease. If it lands too close by, the fish will be startled and will flee the scene. When the fish are on the hook, click the raise hook button, or the fish might finish eating the bait and flee. Once you've successfully raised your hook, the fish will start to struggle. When the fish enters the struggle state, you can hold and release the fish button to adjust your fishing line tension and keep it in the yellow ideal tension zone. Fishing progress will only increase if you stay in the ideal tension zone. Otherwise, progress will drop. Once progress is full, you'll have successfully caught this fish. Fish on the hook will sometimes enter periods of intense struggle. At this time, the speed at which line tension may change will be affected, and the ideal tension zone will turn orange and start to fluctuate slightly. If your fish progress hits rock bottom, the fish will try to escape. The tension zone will then turn red and start to fluctuate. Ornamental fish. There are certain lively and more valuable specimens of each fish species known as ornamental fish, and fishing points with such fish at them will have more obvious ripple effects. Ornamental fish can be raised in the pool of sapphire grace within your Serena teapot. You can obtain the blueprint for building the pool at the Fishing Association in Lille. Capacities of the catch. You can exchange caught fish at fishing associations in various regions for various materials. You can also use them as meat in cooking. About the multi-layered map. You will sometimes encounter teleport waypoints and domain entrance map pins bearing such sub-icons. These symbols indicate that the destination is located in a multi-layered area. After you unlock the corresponding map layer, you can interact with said pins to open the corresponding sub-map. Use layer markers on the right of the map interface to switch between layers within the same group, or select the big icon to return to the top-level map. When browsing map layers, the sub-icon of the map pins for the certain layer will appear in bright blue. Dotted lines will be used for indicators, quest targets, event targets, etc. that are not located in the current map layer. Additionally, when an area in the center of the map contains different layers that you have previously entered, you can use the layer switching marker to swap over to the corresponding map. Genius Invocation TCG System Tutorial. Find challengers in the open world, or enter the tavern after reaching player 2 to play matches against weekly visiting challengers and earn player EXP, which will increase your player level. As your player level increases, you will unlock new functions and matches. Upon reaching a certain player level, you can also challenge prints in Ascension challenges to further elevate your maximum level capacity. Genius Invocation is a popular card game with players coming from all corners of the world. Face them in matches and overcome them to get the player EXP and lucky coins. Should you be fortunate, some rivals may even gift you certain cards as parting gift after the accumulation of your duel. As your player level increases, the number of challengers you can face and the matches you can partake in will also increase. You can use the invitation board to send invitations to registered challengers and partake in matches. Should you prevail in these matches, you can also earn corresponding characters and talent cards. You can use the invitation board and connect with your friends via co-op to engage in matchmaking. As your player level grows, You can also challenge faraway strangers to duels of skill. Spend the lucky coins you earn from Genius Invocation TCG matches to purchase cards and dynamic skins, amongst other items from the card shop at the Cat's Tail. Genius Invocation TCG Guest Challenges. Every now and again, new visitors of great skill will arrive at the Cat's Tail seeking worthy rivals in the game of cards. Face and overcome them in matches to earn player EXP and lucky coins. Once your skills reach a specific level, you can go seek out Prince at the Cat's Tail to partake in greater tests of mastery via adventure challenges. Should you prevail, you can earn character and talent cards from your adversaries. Genius Invocation TCG Co-op Matches. You can challenge any player to a duel at the Cat's Tail by interacting with the duel invitation board and sending out an invitation. Casket of Tomes. You can edit your decks using the Casket of Tomes and also search for characters nearby who also possess a Casket of Tomes, thereby identifying opponents you can challenge. Simply open the deck menu and use the Casket of Tomes before selecting a deck to edit it. After searching for and locating a challenger, the map will appear, allowing you to mark rival card players who also possess a Casket of Tomes. You can use this method to tell who you can challenge to a game of cards with ease. When you use your Casket of Tomes to activate the ability to search for players, players closest to you whom have yet to defeat will be prioritized. Genius Invocation TCG Rules. Genius Invocation TCG is a tightly paced, heart-stopping tabletop card dueling game. Utilize your cards by constructing them around character and action cards, and go toe-to-toe with various opponents at the table. Roll Phase. You will roll 8 elemental dice at the start of each round. After throwing these dice, you will have one chance to choose any number of elemental dice and re-roll them. Elemental Dice. Each elemental dice is 8-sided and can roll into any one of the following 8 elemental attributes: Cryo, Hydro, Pyro, Electro, Animo, Geo, and Dendro, as well as the Omni element, which can be regarded and used as any basic element. Various types of actions require elemental dice as payment. Action. Use skill. During your action phase, you may spend elemental dice to use the skill of your active character, which is a way of attacking your opponent's active character. Defeat all of your opponent's characters to win the duel. Action. Switch character. During your action phase, you can spend 1 elemental die of any type to switch your active character. Action. Play card. During your action phase, you can spend elemental dice to play action cards. Of these, equipment cards can be used to strengthen specific characters, while support cards can be used to continuously provide buffs. Event cards will immediately take a one-time effect when played. Action. Elemental Tuning. During your action phase, you can discard cards to change the elemental type of your elemental die. Each card discarded will allow you to change the elemental type of one elemental die to that of your current active character. Action. Declare round end. Once you have completed your actions in this round, you can declare a round's end. The player who declares this first will play first next round. Once both sides have made this declaration, this round is over. Both players will draw 2 cards and begin a new round. View Genius Invocation TCG rules. Some Genius Invocation TCG card descriptions will contain certain rule terms that will be underlined. Click these terms to view their detailed descriptions. During Genius Invocation TCG duels, you may click on the gear button on the top right of the interface to read the rulebook. There, you can view Genius Invocation TCG rules in more detail. Tutorials. Enemies. Large Cryo Slime. A slime that uses a frozen cryo shield to protect itself. If you use Pyro or other reactive elemental attacks, perhaps you can break through its defenses. Large Geo Slime. A slime that uses a sturdy Geo shield to protect itself. If you use heavy Geo attacks, a claymore, or strong explosions, you should be able to break through its defenses. Eye of the Storm. a dangerous opponent that can summon hurricane spheres to deal sustained damage. Try using the wind current generated in the center to swiftly leave the ground. Pyrohypostasis protects itself with a cubical shell that is elementally inert. Has two states, ignited and extinguished. In the ignited state, the pyrohypostasis core is not only exposed and continuously regenerates HP. Only after extinguishing it with the right elemental reactions will you have an opportunity to strike. In the extinguished state, the pyrohypostasis will generate fire seeds in attempt to reignite. Hydrohypostasis protects itself with a cubical shell that is elementally inert. Attacks are only effective when its elemental core is exposed. When HP is low, it splits into 3 crystalline water droplets that will move towards its core. Destroy these water droplets in time to prevent the revival of the hydrohypostasis. Animohypostasis. Elemental creatures who protect themselves from incoming attacks with their durable shell. Find the opportune moment to land a blow to their elemental core. They are also able to control their elemental orb in fights and restore their health when they feel threatened. If you fail to utilize upcurrents to absorb these orbs, the battle will be significantly harder. Electrohypostasis protects itself with a cubical shell that is elementally inert. Attacks are only effective when its elemental core is exposed. When HP is low, it splits into 3 crystalline prisms that can absorb elemental energy. Make sure to destroy them all. Cryohypostasis. Elemental creatures who protect themselves from incoming attack with their durable shell. Find an opportune moment to land a blow to their elemental core. At critical moments, they will enter a shielded regenerative state, firing frost fruits to attack its foes while restoring its own HP. Use charge attacks to redirect frost fruits back at the cryohypostasis to knock it out of its regenerative state swiftly. Geohypostasis. Elemental creatures who protect themselves from incoming attacks with their durable shell. Find an opportune moment to land a blow to their elemental core. They are able to create geoconstructs in fights and restore their health when they feel threatened. You must be able to efficiently destroy these constructs if you want to defeat these creatures. Dendrohypostasis. A hypostasis that uses its inert shell to defend itself. It now displays abnormalities due to have been corrupt by some unknown influence. You must seize moments where its elemental core is exposed to attack it effectively. When it is in danger, it will release restorative piths that have the properties of Trilakshana creatures. Use Dendro to revive these piths and induce a normal state in them to continuously cleanse the dendrohypostasis, and use Electro to trigger their activated state and speed up the cleaning process. Using Dendro attacks on the dendrohypostasis core can also help cleanse the creature. Complete the cleansing process to complete the challenge. Oceanids. A noble elemental life form that dwells within bodies of pure water. In combat, it will expend and condense its life force into HOYO-MiX that attack its enemies. Although they are all aligned with Hydro, different elements that react with Hydro are effective against HOYO-MiX. Defeat these mimics rapidly to overcome the Oceanid with ease. Thunder Manifestation. An elemental life form created as the avatar of the thunderous indignation. It uses lightning attacks and its strike probes to lock onto its foes. If a lock-on target is present, the thunder manifestation will enter an enraged state and prioritize the annihilation of that target. Pyrospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of its floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it will build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it will expand, become larger and stronger, and it will explode violently when defeated. Hydrospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of this floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it will build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it will expand, becoming larger and stronger, and it will explode violently when defeated. Animospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of this floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it will build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it will expand, becoming larger and stronger, and it'll explode violently when defeated. Electrospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of this floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it will build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it'll expand, becoming larger and stronger, and it'll explode violently when defeated. Dendrospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of this floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it'll build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it'll expand, becoming larger and stronger, and it'll explode violently when defeated. Cryospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of this floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it'll build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it'll expand, becoming larger and stronger, and it'll explode violently when defeated. Geospectre. High elemental concentrations have resulted in the creation of this floating creature. When it takes a single grievous hit, it'll build fury. When a spectre hits maximum fury, it'll expand, becoming larger and stronger, and it'll explode violently when defeated. Wooden Shield Hilichurl Guard. Wards off any attack using a wooden shield, which is comprised of dendro. Maybe there is a way to set it on fire. Rock Shield Hilichurl Guard. Protects itself using a shield with geo attributes, unlike the shields wielded by Wooden Shield Hilichurl Guards. Use heavy attacks such as geo elemental attacks, claymores, and overloaded to break the shield. Wooden Shield Midachurl. Wards off attacks using a large wooden shield, which is comprised of dendro. Maybe there's a way to set it on fire. Rock Shield Wall Midachurl. Protects itself using a shield with geo attributes, unlike the shields wielded by Wooden Shield Walled Milichurls. Use heavy attacks such as geo elemental attacks, claymores, and overloaded to break the shield. Ice Shield Walled Milichurl. A Midachurl that uses a cryo shield to protect itself. Its shield will regenerate in sub-zero climate. Attack with pyro or other elements that can react with cryo to crush its defenses. Geosamichurl. Uses geo attributes to form a solid stone pillar to separate itself from harm. The stone pillar can be destroyed with heavy geo attacks, claymore attacks, or strong explosions. If you can defeat it swiftly, its magical power will also vanish. Anemo Hilichurl Rogue. A mysterious Hilichurl warrior that can manipulate Anemo to a certain degree. In battle, such Hilichurls will enter a hovering state with aid of Anemo slimes. Attack these Anemo slimes to shoot the rogues down. Hydro Hilichurl Rogue. A mysterious Hilichurl warrior that can manipulate Hydro to a certain degree. Such Hilichurls will use Hydro slimes in battle to launch mist bubbles. Burst these Hydro slimes to cause their effects to rebound on the rogues. Pyro Abyss Mage. Uses a pyro shield to protect itself. Perhaps you can break down its defenses with electro or other elemental attacks that react with pyro. Hydro Abyss Mage. Uses a hydro shield to protect itself. Perhaps you can break down its defenses with cryo or other elemental attacks that react with hydro. Cryo Abyss Mage. Uses a cryo shield to protect itself. Perhaps you can break down its defenses with pyro or other elemental attacks that react with cryo. Abyss Herald Wicked Torrents. An Abyss Order monster that uses dark power to command warped torrents in battle. Some of its attacks increase the cooldown of character skills if they are currently in cooldown. Abyss Lector Fathomless Flames. A monster of the Abyss Order who sings of the warmth of the dark flames. Some of its attacks will apply the brand of the abyssal flame when they deal damage to characters. These brands will explode after a short while, causing the whole party to lose large amounts of HP. You may be able to use shields to prevent the brand from being applied. Your active character can succumb to HP loss resulting from the brand's explosion. When the Abyss Lector, Fathomless Flames, enters a state where it's defended by a shield of abyssal fire, destroy its dark fire furnace to deplete its shield more easily. Abyss Lector, Violet Lightning. A creature of the Abyss Order that calls upon thunder and lightning in praise of darkness. It possesses some ability to disrupt elemental powers, and some of its attacks will drain characters' elemental energy when dealing damage to them. Abyss Herald, Frostfall. An Abyss Order monster that uses dark power to command ice and frost in battle. Some of its attacks decrease stamina of the characters while dealing damage against them. Inquisitus Baptist. A creature of the Abyss Order that can manipulate 3 elements at once, and use shields of the corresponding elements to defend against damage. In battle, it will create elemental rings, through which it will channel a powerful attack. Use reactions to destroy all the rings to prevent oncoming catastrophe. Rockfond Rifthound Whelp. A monster from the nether world that has the power to corrode material. The Rifthound Whelp's attacks can apply stacks of corrosion status, which will cause all characters in party to continuously lose HP. Additionally, when they take elemental damage from their respective element, Rifthound Whelps will enter an elemental devourer state that will allow them to fight more fiercely at the cost of lessened resistance to that particular element. Thundercraven Rifthound Whelp. A monster from another world that has the power to corrode material. The Rifthound Whelp's attacks can apply stacks of the corrosion status, which will cause all characters in the party to continuously lose HP. Additionally, when they take elemental damage from their respective element, Rifthound Whelps will enter an elemental devourer state that will allow them to fight more fiercely at the cost of the lessened resistance to that particular element. Rockfond Rifthound. This is the mature form of a Rifthound Whelp, or so it would seem. However, these monsters do not have natural life cycles, and their growth remains a mystery. Their Rifthound attacks can apply stacks of the corrosion status, which will cause all characters in the party to continuously lose HP. Additionally, when they take elemental damage from their respective element, Rifthounds will enter an elemental devourer state that will allow them to fight more fiercely at the cost of lessened resistance to that particular element. Thundercraven Rifthound. This is the mature form of the Rifthound Whelp, or so it would seem. However, these monsters do not have a natural life cycle, and their growth remains a mystery. The Rifthound attacks can apply stacks of corrosion status, which will cause all characters in the party to continuously lose HP. Additionally, when they take elemental damage from their respective elements, Rifthounds will enter an elemental devourer state that will allow them to fight more fiercely at the cost of lessened resistance to that particular element. The Golden Wolflord's attacks can apply stacks of the corrosion status, which will cause all characters in the party to continuously lose HP. In combat, the Wolflord will summon Rifthound skulls to provide it with a shield. It can also enter Elemental Devourer state, which will increase its geo resistance and increase its offensive capabilities. Attack the Rifthound skulls with geo damage to destroy the Golden Wolflord's shield swiftly. Batui skirmishers that shoot pyro projectiles in battle. They receive some kind of elemental buff. Perhaps using an element that reacts with pyro could make quick work of this buff. Batui skirmisher, Hydrogunner Legionnaire. Batui skirmishers that shoot hydro projectiles in battle. They receive some kind of elemental buff. Perhaps using an elemental that reacts with hydro could make quick work of their buff. Batui skirmisher, Animo Boxer Vanguard. Fatui skirmishers that manipulate Animo energy to support fellow Fatui in battle. They use restorative Animo powers of weakened allied skirmishers who have lost their elemental buffs, allowing them to quickly jump back into the fray. Fatui skirmisher, Electro Hammer Vanguard. Fatui skirmishers that wield a hammer flowing with electro energy in battle. They receive some kind of elemental buff. Perhaps using an element that reacts with electro could make quick work of their buff. Batui skirmisher, Cryogunner Legionnaire. Batui skirmishers that shoot cryo projectiles in battle. They receive some kind of elemental buff. Perhaps using an element that reacts with cryo could make quick work of their buff. Batui skirmishers, Geocanter Bracer. Batui skirmishers that wield staves to manipulate geo energy and summon crystallized shields. They receive some kind of elemental buff. Perhaps using an element that reacts with geo can make quick work of their buff. Mirror Maiden. A Fatui maiden who wields a water mirror in combat. Some attacks apply refraction status to the character. When nearby characters are affected with refraction, she enters the polarization state, in which she is stronger. Ruin Guard. The key weak spots where the core is exposed on the head and the back. Try to hit one of them. Ruin Hunter. A formidable mechanical being found in the ruins. When suspended in mid-air, it is highly dangerous, but also exposes its core on its head. Ruin Grater. While performing certain attacks, the Ruin Grater will expose the cores on its head and its feet. If you take advantage of this and promptly attack its cores, Defeating it should be much easier. Perpetual Mechanical Array. A mysterious ruin machine that can reconfigure to various forms. In battle, the Perpetual Mechanical Array will enter an absolute defense state, in which it splits and summons several different kinds of ruined sentinels. After defeating and enhanced ruined sentinels, absolute defense state will be removed and it will enter a weakened state. Ruined Serpent. A bizarrely shaped ruin machine. It will create oozing concentrations in battle and will attempt to draw power from them under certain circumstances, which will allow it to unleash devastating attacks. Using the blooming light from your lumens to adjuvant to destroy oozing concentrations, feeding power into the ruined serpent to knock it out of the state and cause the energy cores on its body to cease functioning. Once 4 such cores malfunction, the ruined serpent will enter a weakened state. Ruined Drake, Earth Guard. A ruin machine that can absorb energy and hurl it back as an attack. The Ruined Drake Earth Guard can periodically release a dangerous torrent of energy and increase its own elemental resistance against previous main type of elemental damage it suffered. When it is separating to unleash this energy torrent, or when it's preparing for a special sprint attack, the core on its head will be exposed. Take this opportunity to attack the core, and you may be able to immobilize this creature and undo its elemental resistance boost. Ruined Drake, Skywatch. A ruin machine that can absorb energy and hurl it back as an attack. The Ruined Drake Skywatch can periodically release a dangerous torrent of energy and increase its own elemental resistance against the previous main type of elemental damage it suffered. Under various circumstances, its cores all over its body will be exposed. Take this opportunity to attack these cores, and you may be able to immobilize this creature and undo the elemental resistance boost. Aeon Blight Drake. A ruin machine that can absorb energy and hurl it back as an attack. This machine has even greater abilities than the Ruined Drake, being able to attack from the air and on the ground. The Aeon Blight Drake can periodically release a dangerous torrent of energy and increase its own elemental resistance against the previous main type of elemental damage it had suffered. Under various circumstances, the cores all over its body will be exposed. Take such opportunities to check for those cores, and you may be able to immobilize the creature and remove its elemental resistance boost. Wherever this creature recovers from paralysis, it will switch between aerial and ground attack forms. Primal Construct. These ancient machines which come from the desert are quite distinct from ruin machines. In combat, these primal constructs will fire their component out, while their cores enter an invisible state that hides them and increases their resistance. Use catalyzed reactions to strike these cores or use electro attacks on them during such times as the fired components have been destroyed and need to recover to cancel this invisibility and cause the cores to be immobilized due to excessive overclocking. Algorithm of the Semi-in-Transit Matrix of Overseer Network. This ancient aggregation of machinery hails from the desert and has quirks of modern-day civilizations cannot comprehend. In battle, the algorithm of Semi-in-Transit Matrix of Overseer Network will fire its component out while its core enters an invisible state that hides it to increase its resonance. Use catalyzed reactions to strike this core, or use electro attacks on it during such times as the fired components have been destroyed and need to recover to cancel this invisibility, and cause the core to become immobilized due to overclocking. If you fail to cancel its core's invisibility for too long, the algorithm of Semi-in-Transit Matrix of Overseer Network will begin to display its power by using a mighty overclocked attack. Pyro-Regisvine. Massive elemental plants that grow deep underground. They use their brightly colored flowers to lure in their prey, attacking anyone that treads too closely. Perhaps the fruit that appears like a pyro core growing near its roots could be an effective means of dealing damage. Cryo-Regisvine. Carnivorous plants that use their alluring appearance of their flowers to deceive their prey. Their vine-like stalks are surprisingly tough to cut through. Perhaps the organ shaped like a cryo-core growing near its roots could be the key to defeating them. Electro-Regisvine. A predatory plant in the same vein as the cryo and pyro-regisvines. These creatures can create an organ that resemble electric cores at its root or corolla. When this type of organ starts to shift, its state will change, condensing into either a waxing stamen or a waning stamen. When two types of stamens are present at the same time, they will attract one another and then unleash a powerful electro explosion when they make contact. Destroying these stamens quickly is the key to an easier battle experience. Geovishap Hatchling, a small and very nimble lizard hatchling. When its attacks are deflected by a character with a shield, it seems to be paralyzed for a moment by the recoil. Geovishap, a bulky adult Geovishap. In one of its mode of attack, if it hits a character with a shield and fails to break the shield, it will be stunned for a moment by the recoil. Primo Geovishap, a Primo Geovishap awoken from a centuries-long slumber that can absorb different kinds of elemental power to unleash a primordial shower infused with hydro, pyro, cryo, or electro. If this attack hits a character protected by a shield, the Primo Geovishap will take some damage in return. If the shield's elemental type is Geo, or it matches that of a primordial shower, the amount of reflected damage will be increased. Primordial Baptismal Vishap, a predator that lies in wait within the pitch-dark watery depths. It appears to have adapted to some unknown power out of the sea depths, such that it can use elements other than hydro. When it faces strong foes, it will use a powerful cleansing shower. Characters hit by this attack will lose a certain amount of elemental energy. If they do not have sufficient elemental energy, they will lose HP. Rimebiter Baptismal Vishap, a predator that lies in wait within the pitch-dark watery depths. It appears to have adapted to some unknown power out in the sea depths, such that it can use elements other than hydro. When it faces strong foes, it will use its powerful cleansing shower. Characters hit by this attack will lose a certain amount of elemental energy. If they do not have sufficient elemental energy, they will lose HP. Shadowy Husk, Standard Bearer, an anemic pitch-black standard bearer. Its attacks will create shields for itself, nearby shadowy husks, and black serpent knights at the cost of its HP after they hit characters defended by shields. Shadowy Husk, Line Breaker, an anemic pitch-black lancer. Its attacks will release healing waves that will continuously heal HP for itself, nearby shadowy husks, and black serpent knights at the cost of its HP if they hit characters defended by shields. This HP recovery effect can be stacked multiple times. Shadowy Husk, Defender, an anemic pitch-black archer. It will switch weapons for a certain amount of time, deploying a shield that blocks damage if it hit characters defended by shields. It will gain an attack increase during this period at the cost of its HP. The attack increase that the Shadowy Husk Defender gains in this way can be stacked multiple times. Black Serpent Knight, Windcutter. This seems to have once been a trusted guard of high standing in some land who wielded the power of the winds. Its attacks become faster and stronger when they hit shielded characters at the cost of its own health. Black Serpent Knight, Rockbreaker Axe. This seems to have once been a trusted guard of the high standing in some land who's wielded the power of Geo. Its attacks become stronger and fiercer when they hit shielded characters at the cost of its own health. Fungus, a monster with basic intelligence that evolved from spores. When first hit by electro or pyro attacks, they will enter either an activated or scorched state based on the elemental attack type used. Defeat this transformed fungus to obtain different types of rewards. Jade Plume Terror Shroom, an evolved fungus. When it is hit by electro attacks and catalyze reactions, it will accumulate activation. When it is hit by pyro attacks, it will lose activation progress. When it accumulates sufficient activation, it will enter an activated state. An activated Jade Plume Terror Shroom will unleash more fearsome attacks until it becomes exhausted. When it is not activated, the Jade Plume Terror Shroom can be put into a burning state via the use of pyro, which will cause it to become scorched. It will then spread more spores around to create fungi in an attempt to escape its status. Eremite Desert Clearwater. These sword dancers may be found in many scattered mercenary groups that hail from the desert. They will unleash ominous spirits sealed within their weapons after taking a certain amount of damage to enter an infused form that greatly boosts their combat capabilities. Once their infused form ends, they will enter a weakened state for a time. Eremite Sunfrost. These agile warriors may be found in the many scattered mercenary groups that hail from the desert. They will unleash the ominous spirit sealed in their weapons after taking a certain amount of damage to enter an infused form that greatly boosts their combat capabilities. Once this infused form ends, they will enter a weakened state for a time. Eremite Day Thunder. These warriors form the backbone of many scattered mercenary groups that hail from the desert. They will unleash an ominous spirit that's sealed in their weapons after taking a certain amount of damage to enter an infused form that greatly boosts their combat capabilities. Once this infused form ends, they will enter the weakened state for a time. Eremite Gale Hunter. This huntress may be found in one of the many scattered mercenary groups that hailed from the desert. She will unleash the spirit of Omen, Whaled Glide, contained within her body to fight alongside her after taking a certain amount of damage. This will cause her to enter an infused form. If the Glide is defeated, she will enter a weakened state for a fixed amount of time thereafter. Eremite Stone Enchanter. This warrior may be found in one of the many scattered mercenary groups that hail from the desert. He will unleash a spirit of Omen, Stone Drake, contained within its body to fight alongside him after taking a certain amount of damage. This will cause him to enter an infused form. If the Drake spirit is defeated, he will enter a weakened state for a certain amount of time thereafter. Eremite Scorching Lore Master. This oracle may be found in one of the many scattered mercenary groups that hail from the desert. She will unleash the spirit of Omen, Pyro Scorpion, contained within her body after taking a certain amount of damage. This will cause her to enter an infused form. If the Scorpion is defeated, she will enter a weakened state for a fixed amount of time thereafter. Eremite Floral Ring Dancer. This dancer may be found in one of the many scattered mercenary groups that hail from the desert. She will unleash the spirit of Omen, Dendro Spirit Serpent, contained within her weapon to fight alongside her after taking a certain amount of damage. This will cause her to enter an infused form. If the Spirit Serpent is defeated, she will enter a weakened state for a fixed amount of time thereafter. Consecrated Red Vulture. A scavenger bird that was warped and transformed by its consumption of the body of a mighty life form. During combat, it will enter the powerful Phagotic form. Some of its attacks will unleash Phagotic energy blocks. Use the corresponding elemental attacks to destroy these energy blocks to absorb the power within them, which then can be unleashed when attacking the consecrated Red Vulture, dealing significant damage and paralyzing the creature temporarily. Consecrated Scorpion. An arthropod that was warped and transformed by its consumption of the body of a mighty life form. During combat, it will enter the powerful Phagotic form. Some of its attacks will unleash Phagotic energy blocks. Use the corresponding elemental attacks to destroy these energy blocks to absorb the power within them, which then can be unleashed when attacking the consecrated Scorpion, dealing significant damage and paralyzing this creature temporarily. Consecrated Flying Serpent. A reptile that was warped and transformed by its consumption of the body of a mighty life form. During combat, it will enter a powerful Phagotic form. Some of its attacks will unleash Phagotic energy blocks. Use the corresponding elemental attacks to destroy these energy blocks to absorb the power within them, which can then be unleashed in attacking the consecrated Flying Serpent, dealing significant damage and paralyzing the creature temporarily. Consecrated Horned Crocodile. A reptile that was warped and transformed by its consumption of the body of a mighty life form. During combat, it will enter the powerful Phagotic form. Some of its attacks will unleash Phagotic energy blocks. Use the corresponding elemental attacks to destroy these energy blocks to absorb the power within them, which then can be unleashed in attacking the consecrated Horned Crocodile, dealing significant damage and paralyzing the creature temporarily. Consecrated Fanged Beast. A predator that was warped and transformed by its consumption of the body of a mighty life form. During combat, it will enter the powerful Phagotic form. Some of its attacks will unleash Phagotic energy blocks. Use the corresponding elemental attacks to destroy these energy blocks and absorb the power within them, which can then be unleashed when attacking the consecrated Fanged Beast, dealing significant damage and paralyzing the creature temporarily. Secta Waynute. An apex predator deep in the desert that can use its power of Animote to a certain extent, which allows it to leave the ground while in combat and enter a floating state. While floating, it can fire Windbite bullets. If these bullets are not destroyed in time, they'll they'll be converted into a high-density curtain of such bullets. Attacks from elements that may react with Anemo can destroy Windbite bullets, which will temporarily decrease the corresponding elemental resistance of the Sicknut Weenut. After 2 Windbite bullets are destroyed in succession, the Sicknut Weenut will be brought down from its floating state. Icewind Suite, Dirge of Copelia. Next up is a fantastical performance to be delivered by the clockwork mecha Copelia. At the climax of the performance, Copelia will halt at the center of the dance floor and expose her artifice clockwork component, charged with Wisa, thereby drastically increasing the efficiency of her exertions and summoning countless whirlwinds of dirge. During this phase, using Pneuma-imbued attacks will reduce her offensive capabilities and overload her, thus progressing the performance. Icewind Suite, Nemesis of Copelius. Next up is a fantastical performance to be delivered by the clockwork mecha Copelius. At the climax of the performance, Copelius will halt at the center of the dance floor and expose his artifice clockwork component charged with Pneuma, thereby drastically increasing the efficiency of his exertions, granting him a shield, and generating 3 retributive frost hearts. During this phase, using Wisa-imbued attacks will effectively break his shield and overload him, thus progressing the performance. Large Shatterstone Breacher Primus. A strange life form that shares nothing in common with any of the other land-dwelling creatures. In fact, it will enter a stress state and unleash a fierce stonefall attack while under the protection of a Geo shield. If the shield is broken during this period, it will cause the life form to fall into a paralyzed state. Aside from the usual methods of using elemental reactions, attacks imbued with Wisa and Pneuma can also effectively pierce defenses of the Breacher Primus. Shatterstone Breacher Primus. A strange life form that shares nothing in common with any of the other land-dwelling creatures. In battle, it will enter a stress state and unleash a fierce stonefall attack while under the protection of a Geo shield. If the shield is broken during that period, it will cause the life form to fall into a paralyzed state. Aside from the usual methods for using elemental reactions, attacks imbued with Wisa or Pneuma can also effectively pierce the defenses of the Breacher Primus. Large Overgrown Breacher Primus. A strange life form that shares nothing in common with any of the other land-dwelling creature. In battle, it will enter a stress state and unleash a fierce Lush Missile while under the protection of a Dendro shield. If the shield is broken during this period, it will cause the life form to fall into a paralyzed state. Aside from the usual methods of elemental reactions, attacks imbued with Wisa or Pneuma can also effectively pierce the defenses of the Breacher Primus. Overgrown Breacher Primus. A strange life form that shares nothing in common with any other land-dwelling creature. In battle, it will enter a stress state and unleash a fierce Lush Missile while under the protection of a Dendros shield. If the shield is broken during this period, it will cause the life form to fall into a paralyzed state. Aside from the usual methods of using elemental reactions, attacks imbued with Wisa or Pneuma can also effectively pierce the defenses of the Breacher Primus. Recon Log Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with Wisa or Pneuma energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overload state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Arithmetic Enhancer Mech. A machine created to complement the energy effects and increase the operational efficiency of Clockwork Mecha. The Wisa or Pneuma energies have different enhancive effects, and this machine can also periodically generate energy, allowing it to replenish the power of nearby disabled Clockwork Mecha that share a similar energy source. After their energy is annihilated by an attack charged with the opposite signature, it will induce an overload state and cause the machine to lose energy, requiring the machine to spend time on self-repairs before it can restore its energy generation functions. Underwater Survey Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with Wisa or Pneuma energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and its combat capabilities. Geological Survey Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose power and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Underwater Patrol Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. Whether either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and its combat capabilities. Nimble Harvester Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machinery to lose energy and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Area Alert Mech. A machine created by the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and its combat abilities. Assault Specialist Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Suppression Specialist Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Annihilation Specialist Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Construction Specialist Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and special energy technologies. Based on whether it's imbued with WISA or NUMA energy, the machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and necessitating the use of emergency power to sustain low-end combat actions. Stern Shield Crab. An aquatic life form that has embarked on a unique evolutionary track due to Fontaine's environmental factors. When under the effects of pyro, it can unleash fiercer elemental attacks and possess even stronger defensive capabilities. If you use elemental reactions to remove its elemental shield, things should be easier to handle. Bubbler Seahorse. An aquatic life form that has embarked on a unique evolutionary track due to Fontaine's environmental factors. When under the effects of electro, it can unleash fiercer elemental attacks and possess even stronger defensive capabilities. If you use elemental reactions to remove its elemental shield, things should be easier to handle. Cherubic Sea Hare. An aquatic life form that has embarked on a unique evolutionary track due to Fontaine's environmental factors. When under the effects of cryo, it can unleash fiercer elemental attacks and possess stronger defensive capabilities. If you use elemental reactions to remove its elemental shield, things should be easier to handle. Emperor of Fire and Iron. An armored crab lord that has survived for countless eons and surpassed almost all other Fonterra aberrants. The twin molten horns located high up on its body are pyro-aligned organs that can unleash more vicious elemental attacks and grant it even stronger defensive capabilities. When the armored crab lord unleashes a certain attack, its twin molten hordes are closer to the ground. This provides for a great opportunity to use elemental reactions and remove the pyro element within. Deep Water Assault Mech. A machine created from the union between Fontaine's intricate device and a special energy technology. Based on whether it's imbued with Wisa or Numa energy, this machine will operate differently in battle. When either energy is annihilated upon being attacked by its opposite, an overloaded state will be induced, causing the machine to lose energy and its combat capabilities. Frost Operative. An elite Fatui special agent who can manipulate cryo in battle. In combat, they will use the Hunt Down skill to attach a life bond to characters they hit. While life bond is active, the character will take continuous damage, and Hunt Down will deal more damage to them. Wind Operative. An elite Fatui special agent who can manipulate Animo in battle. In combat, they will use the Hunt Down skill to attach a life bond characters they hit. When life bond is active, the character will take continuous damage, and Hunt Down will deal more damage to them. Millennial Pearl Seahorse. A lonesome lord of seahorses that has gained the form of fantastical beasts and surpassed almost all over Fontamer Aberrants. The Xenomare Pearl beneath its head is a crystallization of Electro that will allow it to use more powerful elemental attacks and possess stronger defensive capabilities. Other than using elemental reactions to destroy the Xenomare Pearl, you can also destroy the resonant coral orbs it creates, while guiding Fontamer Thor Thunder to deal effective damage to said pearl. Experimental Field Generator. A large and out-of-control Fontaine Research Institute of Kinetic Energy Engineering device. During combat, it will channel Wisa energy to unleash gravity reduction field. Characters within this field can jump significantly higher. When the device is in this state, its gravity reduction field will shut down if core is annihilated by Numa attacks. Hydrotulpa. The gigantic combined form of many water droplets. During the challenge, small half-tulpas will constantly appear and fight against their opponents. The Hydrotulpa will absorb these half-tulpas into itself to grow stronger. You can use attacks or elemental reaction to disrupt the absorption process. Local Legend. This special mark is the main point of the distinction between local legends and ordinary elements. The combat power of local legends far surpasses that of ordinary enemies, so stay exceptionally vigilant when facing them. Solitary Swanee. An illuminated beast that delves deep within the mountains that can use Hydro and Animo simultaneously in battle. Render it frozen while it's gathering Hydro-aligned Adeptal energy, before using Shatter, Melt, or other elemental reactions to break the ice, and cause it to enter an immobile state. When it is gathering Animo-aligned Adeptal energy, use attacks from elements that can react with Animo to destroy the Spirit Wind Pearls summoned during the process to achieve the same advantage. Swanwen Beast. An illuminated beast that delves deep within the mountains. Use elemental reactions to freeze this creature, and use Shatter, Melt, or other elemental reactions to break the ice and render it immobile temporarily. Well, I hope you all have learned something today, and with the power of all 383 Genshin tutorials, as of right now on 4.5, you too can become the meta slave player we all strive to become. We'll be back on Friday at night, as chosen by the Discord poll for our regularly scheduled shenanigans. Don't forget to join the Discord for any updates regarding streams or posts. Also, feel free to follow me on the socials for any posts about stream or for VODs and shorts as well. I love you guys, and sorry not sorry for tricking you all. Take care of yourselves this week, okay? Happy April Fool's Day. May Aha, the Eon of Elation, be on your side. Kamuijima. What? Kamuijima. Kamuijima. It has the power to control the Varuna. Hello, I cannot read. On Yashiori Island, there are two kinds of mechanical devices that suppress oh my god. Tatarigami. Tatarigami power. Tatarigami. tatarigami. Okay. Kujarai's Temaria game. Interact with the Temari near to Kate Kujarai to complete.
Oh my god, how many tutorials are there? I'm losing my mind.
The ancient ruins of Desert Hamra.
What is that word?
Hadramaveth. Sandstorm in the desert of Hamravith. Such local anomalous can generate energy and can ablate. What the food uses that word? The Tower of Episimus. Why does that word exist? And are capable of bestowing such powers upon those who come to pay obedience.
Hello, I would like to Google a word.
And are capable of bestowing such powers upon those who came to pay
I forgot the word.
And are capable of bestowing such powers upon those who come pay obeisance.
I messed up every word besides obeisance. Why there's so many tutorials? Why? Who designed this many tutorials? I'm so tired.
Mysterious beings called Seelie can be found scattered all across. Mysterious Seelie. Hello? They continuously emit heat that diminishes Seelie cold. What the fuck is Seelie cold? It can fire an electrical current and Hello? Electrograna have various powers. Carry them with you to travel rapidly. Lumenstone Adjuvant. When you have the Lumenstone Adjuvant, what? Algorithm of the semi-intrinsic matrix net of Jesus Christ, I forgot how long this name is. Oh my god. Unless someone manages to figure out if the energy it's emitting is USA or Pneuma and uses a
what was that? I stopped. My brain just short-circuited.
But over time, the sacred seal.
The sacred winds? Which one? Venti?
If you play it to the Claustrophora, you can use
what, homie?
The Golden Wolf Lord's attack can apply the status of corrosion status.
The status of corrosion same, buddy.
Their winter withstands bones.
What? Their winter withstands bones. What bones can withstand winter? It's cold.
Protects itself using a shield with geo attributes. Unlike the shield welded. What are they welding with wooden shields? Such hit a hillitril. That's okay.
What the fuck am I doing? Actually, is the side question.
Why am I doing this to myself? Hold and aim and place the Bing Bang hot bomb.
That's what it's called? When does this ever come up besides in this tutorial?
Cut down cypress trees to get cyper wood.
Cypher? The Cypher? The Valorant agent?
In battle, it will enter a stressed state and unleash a fierce lush Michelin Star Breacher Primus. Perhaps you can't break down its defendant? Who is defending the Pyro Abyss Mage if they do not have submissive?
What? The primordial Abyss? What? They're submissive?
While it takes a single grievous hit, it will build a furries. They're all furries. The Pyro Spectres are furries. If placed correctly, the sacred spring rushing from the gaze hair painting? Boom's mine? The Ruined Drake Earthguard can personally do what? Personally, these nuts rotate the device to
I'm losing my mind, aren't I?
Spend lucky coins you earn from Tinius Tinvocation TCG, a mysterious power that flows out from the statue to imbue you with the blessings of the transoceanic source water. These monsters from a bygone era. May we awakening. The Ubu.
Oh my god.
Punctuation wing challenge. The target will come up with an order. Thunder Craven with Town Whelp. Ubu, I love the with Town Whelps.
I'm losing my mind.
Batui skirmishers that scoot. Defeat all red mimi. I'm so tired.
Well, I guess that's the end for today's stream. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, well, you can tell Eve when they come back on Friday. Oh, they did tell me to tell you that this Friday's stream will be at 10 PM EST instead of their regular time, so do be aware of that, little chicklets. You wouldn't want to miss their streams now, would you? But anyway, let's close out this little show, shall we? What do they usually do at the end? Oh, I remember, they let you all pick someone to go to, don't they? How about I pick this time? Let's go here. To be kind to them, alright? I can't have Eve be mad at me for something you guys did after all. I can't make fun of them when they're upset. That's no fun. Here's that little, what do they call it, raid message? Use this one, or don't, it doesn't matter to me, smile. Join their little discordant server application, will you? How else will you know about their upcoming streams, and more importantly, how can I tease all of you if you don't know when their stream is? Oh, and do follow their social platforms to see their little shorts and VODs too. The more their socials grow, the more of you I get to have fun with, smile. Eve will see you on Friday at 10 PM EST for another stream. Don't worry, it won't be me next time. As for me, I suppose a nice snap is in order. Yawn, how do they do this every week? This is exhausting. I think I'll stick to being a bot for now. I'll see you all on Friday too, even if it's just behind your screens. Smile. Bye bye.